It's irreversible, robbing a child of a reproductive future. Sex change surgery on minor children, some as young as 12, often taxpayer paid. We set age limits for drinking and smoking and voting, but our politicians refuse to protect our children. So it's up to us. Our ballot measure prohibits irreversible sex change surgery on minor children, age 17 and younger, and prohibits taxpayer funding. For something this serious and permanent, why not wait until at least age 18?
Good evening. We are back. It been a crazy week, but we are back with yet another episode of Apostate Radio. We are coming to you once again live on all our platforms. X, we're on our YouTube channel. We're on Rumble, and we are on Kick. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. I am, as always, Isaiah Carter, and to the right on your screen, my brother, Mr. Nostra Chavez. What up, dude?
What's up, my brother? How we doing?
I'm feeling pretty good, man.
Me too.
Of course, yeah. I'm full grimace today.
Yeah. How's that?
Nah, I'm like we won today, so like I'm festive. And
okay.
And speaking of festive, oh wait, wrong way. The missus today did a phenomenal job with the decor. We put up the Christmas tree.
Beautiful.
Today, and
it's the holiday season.
Yes.
Doop-de-doo and leedly-dee, tweedly-dee and tweedly-dum.
You know, I knew you were going to squeeze in a song.
Gotta sing, man.
I knew you were going to squeeze in something, but I'm actually very excited for tonight's show.
Yeah.
This is going to be pretty big. We will be dealing with some pretty important stuff, but as always, we'll get our business and stuff done. First, you can talk to us individually at Isaiah L. Carter and at Nino Chavez X. If you want to talk to us directly, you can also follow us on X at Apostate Radio NY. That is, of course, our show page. We've got all sorts of announcements coming. And then if you want to support us, because this is not free, this is not a charity operation, we do love to get your financial contributions, and at buymeacoffee.com/apostate radio. We also have a Venmo that's available for your perusement, and we'll have the QR code in the upper right-hand corner of the screen for you momentarily. But right now, I want to introduce two people. We are going to the Rocky Mountains tonight. We've got two great people who are fighting for the rights of kids to be kids. Whole, intact, and completely untainted by gender cultism. We've been dealing with this for a very long time over the last several years. And I personally, and we'll get into some of my own little personal feelings about this, but gender cultism is a bigger evil than, I believe, abortion itself. I do.
I think I agree with that as well.
I genuinely believe that what adults have been doing, what teachers and administrators and entire public school systems, and even some private school systems, what they've been doing to children is absolutely inexcusable, but also unforgivable.
Yeah.
And so tonight, we are talking to tonight. We have two great people coming on to the show. They are our first guest is a friend of our friend, the Grandmaster, Dr. James Lindsay. She is the executive director and co-founder of Protect Kids Colorado. She is a warrior mom and an accidental activist. Seems like there are a lot of us these days.
Yeah.
A lot of us these days. I present to you Erin for Parental Rights, the wonderful Erin Lee. How are you, my dear? Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Great to have
Erin.
you. Great to have you. And we also coming to us on the show tonight, joining us is a doctor based also in Colorado. He is I guess we'll call him a Denver Broncos fan in waiting. He's a close associate of Erin Lee, and we are very, very excited to welcome to the first time on our show Dr. Travis Morrell. Thank you so much, my brother. How are you, sir?
Man, stoked to be here with you. Thanks so much.
Hey, Dr. Morrell, how you doing?
We are grateful to have you. So let's dig in, Erin. This goes for the both of you, but we're going to start with you, Erin. For those who are first timers on our show, we want to give you the opportunity. We're going to do this for both of you, but Erin, if you would please introduce yourself to our audience, let people know who you are, what you are up to, and what brings you here tonight.
Yeah, well, as you said, I'm an accidental activist, and I woke up when the gender cult came after my 12-year-old daughter. So I'm actually a recovering leftist, recent red pill, who was kind of sleepwalking through life. And then my daughter was invited to an after-school art club in May of 2021. And when she came home, she let us know it was actually a secret gender and sexuality awareness club where they brought in outside predators and successfully convinced her that she had been born in the wrong body, that she was actually a transgender boy named Toby. And that led to the darkest, scariest year of our life. She just kind of downward spiraled into this identity, into depression, into suicidality. And we didn't know how to help her. And we learned the hard way that there are a lot of Colorado laws that really mandate what I call the state mandated religion of Colorado is gender ideology that forced the professionals we went to, the therapists, the doctors, to push her further into this identity, to begin to medicalize her, to give her prescriptions without my consent, because 12-year-olds steward their own healthcare in Colorado. Learned that the hard way. Learned the hard way that therapists are legally obligated to only affirm gender confused kids. And so it was a rough year, and we got her out of the cult. And then it was when I went public that so many other families came forward, like by the thousands at this point, who, were like, me too. Oh my gosh, I thought I was alone. My kid's still in the cult. I can't talk about it. And that's what kind of catapulted me into going, okay, it's me. I have to go out on a limb. I have to talk about this. And I reached out to a journalist and it went viral. So like within a week I was on, Tucker and Fox News and Glenn Beck. And being a leftist, I didn't even know who these people were, but I said yes to every opportunity. And then, co-founded Protect Kids, filed a federal lawsuit against my school district that Pam Bondi headed up. I'm in a few movies about this issue, and just am an outspoken voice for all the families like mine who are going through this and can't talk about it.
My God, I definitely want to ask you even more questions about that. Before that though, Travis, it is your turn, sir. Who are
Isaiah,
you?
You want to switch?
Yeah.
Switch up the screens. There we go.
No. I meant to.
Okay.
I meant to do that. Travis, it is your turn, brother. Thank you again for joining us. Who are you? What are you? And who are you? And what are you doing here?
Yeah, thanks, Isaiah. I'm just happy to be here. My name is Travis. I am a doctor. I've been a doctor 15 years. kind of interesting. I spent 12 years after college doing medical school and a bunch of training in 5 different specialty departments. So I have a pretty broad view of medicine. I delivered a couple hundred babies. I was a primary care resident doctor for a while. And when back in the day, 15 years ago, before anybody cared about this trans stuff, nobody was giving out cookies or flags or anything. I had a couple patients and I was like, well, I'm not going to like castrate anybody, but if an adult is like wants these hormones and they're already on it, I'll continue it or something like that. I wasn't doing anything crazy, but I was taking care of these patients, and I was, I have a lot to say about that, but we had a great concern for each other, and me and the patients got along really well, and they always, treated you, to be honest, like you're, saving their life, which is how people still talk about it now. And I wasn't super, dogmatic about it. And I saw the World Professional Association for Transgender Health had just stacks of papers and citations and stuff. And, I'm busy doing other things. And so it looked like, okay, I don't know if this makes sense to me. Maybe this isn't what I would do, but this is what they're doing. And I'm working for them. I'll help them out. And fast forward a couple of years, I'm in a different career, a different field of medicine. And I start hearing that they're starting to do this to kids. And, adults, that's a very different discussion. Kids are developing. I knew just any doctor, I honestly think any doctor knows, you give puberty blockers to a kid, they're not going to be able to have sex. They're not going to grow up with their full sized genitalia. Maybe they're not going to be able to have fertility. And you're just like, that's messed up. And then what about their bone growth, their brain growth? Like this was instantly obvious to me. And I think any first year medical student that's not totally indoctrinated, and let's be honest, any adult in like the past thousands of years, this is pretty obviously like a bad idea. And so I knew this couldn't be real. So I spent a lot of time studying it to see if I was crazy, and I wasn't crazy. There is not evidence for this being safe or effective, but they're doing it anyway. So I knew at that point, I'm like, oh my goodness, this isn't just like, oh, the science is just going to go this way for a while and then it'll come back this way. This is activism. And so the answer to activism isn't just like, wait this out. Our profession's been taken over. And so I felt obliged that I have to do something. So I looked around, I'm like, well, who in Colorado is already working on this that I can, get behind? And there weren't any doctors doing anything. And fortunately, people like Erin Lee are leading the charge. And since the past couple of years, I've started up a group, coloradodoctors.org, that a lot of doctors are joining, and we're all trying to get this turned around because patients need to have doctors they can trust, and these kids need to have a future. Like you said, it's like a right to grow up and be a kid and be healthy as an adult and have your healthy body intact and get to adulthood. So that's what's gotten me involved, and Erin is leading the charge with these once in a lifetime opportunity to save kids in blue states from these gender surgeries.
I have never in my, I guess I'll start my questions with, I'm going to start with Erin. I have a question for you, Travis, but I want to, so you had a child. One of your kids were in the cult, and how did that start? Okay, walk me through the process of how it started, when you started to see changes, and as I guess as comfortable as you can be, because I know this, I don't know how you might be coping with this, but please tell us how you dealt with this.
I would add to that, what do you think made her susceptible to it? Was it like underlying depression or anything like that? I would include that as well.
So I'm an open book, and my daughter's actually public. She gave a public speech at one of Dr. Travis's events this year.
Oh, wow.
Not a dry eye in the room when she talked about the shame and guilt that she's still carrying now, almost 5 years later after this club. But, it's so bizarre. I mean, she really had no signs of distress in her sex, of gender dysphoria prior to that day. But I realize now she had been subtly indoctrinated for years. It was pronoun conversation, mandatory reading assignments that were all about transgenderism. colorism. Our school district touts the statistic that 30% of the kids in the district are LGBTQ. So it's just very normalized to her for a long time. And so then when these people came in, and this is 2021 in a blue state, so it's the height of COVID, she is incredibly isolated. We had just moved to Colorado from Florida. We're from Sarasota, Florida. So she was very, vulnerable. She had no friends. And what a misfortune to move right when COVID hits. We moved to a new state, new town, new school. She's a shy, quirky, introverted kid. A lot of these kids have suffered sexual abuse, have comorbidities. Over 50% we believe are autistic. My daughter doesn't fit that mold. She was just your normal 12-year-old girl, and puberty started and it sucked. Because puberty sucks and no 12-year-old girl is comfortable in her body. So she just had all these factors. We had just had a baby. I had a newborn when this happened, which is, rocks your whole family. She had no attention from her parents at that moment in time. And she was just incredibly vulnerable, and visibly so. And the teachers went after her unsolicited. Like an hour before the club started, her art teacher approached her unsolicited and said, "Hey, I want to help you make friends. Do you want to come to this art club after school?" So my daughter walked in legitimately thinking she was going to do art and make friends. And then they brought in this predator, a woman who runs an organization called Skittles for kids 2 to 11 and Splash for kids 12 and up, an actual predator. They connected my daughter online on Discord and WhatsApp to this woman. She talked about sexual attraction. She taught my daughter about polyamory. She taught her about puberty blockers and how you can just take this magic drug and it presses pause and you don't have to feel uncomfortable in your body anymore.
Hold on a second. And at the time, how old was your daughter again?
Just turned 12, but there's such a wide range of 12. She was an eat mac and cheese, sleep with a teddy bear 12, really innocent.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you said the name of, I'm just going to look up these organizations. You said, what was it called again?
Splash. Skittles is their group for 2 to 11-year-olds, but their organization's called Splash NoCo, N-O-C-O, and it's Splash NoCo on X, I believe. I don't know. She's blocked now because she made whole accounts.
Yeah,
to my daughter.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right here.
Accounts where she posts, this woman, this vile, disgusting woman, still makes posts to my daughter 5 years later, trying to entice her to leave her family and run away.
Oh my God.
And what can you describe any of these posts or the messaging or?
Yeah, I encourage people to look on my ex. When I get off here, I'll reshare some of them. But she put out a video of a wolf ripping out a heart through a little bunny's throat. And I was the wolf. It was a video saying, I'm the mean mom who is not accepting her. And I ripped her little trans heart out through her throat. And then she ran away to her glitter family. So it's this cutesy little video of the mean wolf mom, and it's bloody and it's violent. Jeez. And my daughter's this little bunny who runs away to her rainbow family. She made a hashtag of my daughter's name. If you look at hashtag on Facebook, 4C Lee, she would make posts for my daughter, Chloe, nonstop, enticing her. Your parents don't accept you. We're here for you. Being trans means that you need to be accepted by everyone. Just sick, disgusting, pedophile groomer stuff to my 12-year-old, all the way up to now she's 16 and a half and still being harassed.
That truly is predatory.
Yeah. She should be in jail.
Yeah. I agree.
It's hard that she's not. In fact, my school district still promotes her. They still promote her physical space. We have missing kids in our community who this woman has trafficked, who we've not recovered.
Trafficked? What are you talking about?
Yeah. Kids.
Whoa.
So let me take it a step further. My daughter comes home. We take her out of the school the next day. Over my dead body, will she go back to that school? And my husband was really the one that was absolutely not. I almost went along with it because I was a leftist and I was oh, my daughter might be trans. I got to be really careful about how I approach this. And he was no, stop that. No, we're not doing that.
Well done.
And within 3 days, a mandated reporter was at our home for a well child check. And I came that close to losing my kid.
Wow.
Child Protective Services.
That is unbelievable.
That close. And that's how they do it. They force these kids out of their homes through Child Protective Services, through the family court system, which has been completely hijacked against parents like me who won't go along with it. Luckily, they weren't successful. We got the right person there that day, but then they entice these girls to run away. So they're talking to her online, shave your head, drain your bank account, turn off your location services. I'll come pick you up. And we still have girls who are missing.
Do you have images of these, of what you're talking about, like the oh boy,
that is so scary.
I have never I've always heard about how bad it was. I've always heard stories about how the gender cult, like how dogged they are at going after, but like I've never actually, like I knew they were bad on like Reddit and Tumblr in particular, and like in the social media space, but I never heard, I don't think we've heard from anybody yet, Nino, about like the real life interactions.
Yeah, probably not with that much detail, especially I mean, from this perspective of a parent of a child who's been literally groomed and indoctrinated for a long time, and then they're trying to go in for the kill with the, trying to take her away from you. That would make people react very, understandably so. It should make parents react very extremely to that in a way. It's like if somebody's trying to take your kid, and at the very least trying to sterilize them and mutilate them eventually. It's demonic. Honestly, it's demonic. I really can't stress it enough. It's like a satanic child eating cult. Not, and I know not everybody believes in that kind of thing, but I do think it's sometimes you have to dip into the language of biblical language and scripture and that sort of thing to kind of to describe the depravity of it.
Yeah,
it's really that's what you're doing is really important, Erin. I think I think every parent should be on the watch for this, and they should try to organize like you have locally. I will do the same thing, by the way, if that happens with I have a daughter who's a little over 1 year old, and I'm very vigilant about when she daycare, when she's going to school, and I will create quite a fuss about this because you have to.
Yeah, you do.
Before it's too late.
Dr. Travis, you said you've been a physician for 15 years.
Yeah.
When and you mentioned in your intro, you mentioned something about the affirmative model. When did you start to see the affirmative model being used in your professional experience out there? And like, what was like when you talk to other physicians in your practice, what was the consensus at first?
Yeah, well, I think this snuck in through academia, through the top children's hospitals in the nation, like Boston Children's Hospital in 2014. And then it really didn't pick up fast until 2017 or 18 through 21 or so, where every year it was 20% more, 20% more, 20% more than not the year before. So most people, if they weren't in like Boston or something, didn't really know about it. Jazz Jennings had his, yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I might go to jail for that, actually. I'm sorry. I'm in Colorado. It's not legal for me to say that I don't know if this is one of those places, but anyway, there's a kid, Jazz Jennings, on cable TV. They literally castrated Jazz on TV as a 17-year-old. That was in like 2018. So this was going on, but for a lot of people, it's rare. And for somebody like me, I was in a different field. I moved in more into skin cancer, melanoma, connective tissue diseases, other things. And so I wasn't working with kids for this, or, I was working with adults that consider themselves trans, but not with this specific thing. So I was just doing my job. I didn't know about this. I wasn't a culture warrior or anything like that. And then I probably didn't really realize it was happening at any kind of grand scale until probably 2021. Which I know for a lot of listeners who are like heavily online, like I am now, and probably a lot of your listeners are, that's like probably crazy to think, but it's just not something that you're seeing every day. You're not doing it every day. Now, when it happened, I was like, surely doctors are with me, right? Like there's no way that every doctor is crazy. So I went and, I started talking to doctors, and yeah, sure enough, I think most doctors, except for maybe in a specialty or two, are against this. And they think it's crazy, but that's kind of how I found out about it. I found out about it late,
How do you, what are you seeing with doctors who are younger, just coming, just coming out of school? What do they call residency? Do they have a different attitude about that?
Yes, 100%. So as an example, when I was an OB-GYN, obstetrics gynecology, delivered a couple hundred babies, did a lot of did assisted and pelvic surgeries, presented on trans surgery repair kind of thing. The medicine in OB-GYN, women's health, women's surgery, and in all medicine was just up in arms for decades about female genital mutilation in other countries, in Yemen and Sudan
Right.
and stuff, just up in arms. They didn't need to study. They just knew it was wrong. Right. Well, I was like, man, some of these medicines are doing the same thing, constricting, damaging, girls' genitalia and so forth. So I was like, I'm going to run a policy and to a major medical society that I was part of and just say, hey, we're against this too. This is female genital mutilation, some of this. And I ran it, and actually it was like 2/3 of doctors in a blue state, believe it or not, agreed that this was wrong right out of the gate. Don't need to study. We're done. So your practicing doctors think this is wrong. But one of the state professors at our prestigious state, tax-paid university had emailed his students and told them to kind of break into the vote. And it was something like 96% of them were completely against protecting kids from this, just kids. So you kind of have like 2/3 or more of doctors out there are like, sane, and I would say even more actually. But then the doctors coming out are like are going to be like 95%. And it's obvious why. I mean, you guys had James Lindsay on last week. Joel Berry was a great episode. The education.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was good. I shared a couple times. So it was a great episode. He talks a lot about how education's been taken over and explains how it's happened. And that's just 100% the truth. They're being taught this cult religion. And so they're basically being brainwashed, unfortunately. And the Catholic students, I've written on this, the Catholic students, the religious students, the just people that aren't crazy students, they're really, sidelined and silenced in these schools.
Yeah. Yeah. And even, Catholics too, if you look at the Pope and stuff, they've been increasingly woke as well in recent years. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of young Catholics, agree with it as well because of that. And in the name of tolerance and inclusivity. And that's the way I'm sure Erin would tell you, that's probably what you felt about it, right? With the, how you at first were accepting of it because you want to be accepting of the LGBTQ community, right? It's kind of like gays' rights, right? That's the way it's kind of wolf in sheep clothing, Trojan horsed into everybody. It's like, well, what, do you hate gay people? Do you hate the gay community? Do you hate LGBTQ? And I do think even religious communities are being infected with that, it's really scary, man. Thank God people are standing up against it because it really could become the law of the land otherwise. And it is the law of the land in some places, sadly, as Erin has talked about. But go ahead, Isaiah. I know you're going to ask a question.
It's not a, I wasn't actually, I was letting you, because I was looking for something and also
you let me cook?
Sharing. Yeah, of course. No, dude, no. Listen, this is an important issue for the both of us. Let me read through some of these comments because just real quick, shout to the chat because we've got a lot of people in here. I want to give a special shout out to ex-user Forest Mommy. All of the things she writes, all of the things conservative parents were scared of in the 90s is actually happening now. Yeah. Slimmy, the ex-user Slimmy says it got really bad in 2020. They were taking advantage of the COVID shutdown and additional money from the government. And our nemesis, or a nemesis that's on here, Master Shake, actually has a very, very good a comment here. He says, public school parents need to tell their kids what's going on before they hear it in school and what their goals are. Take the kids out of the home and take all private property. I actually fully agree.
Because I was thinking about that myself, how I would do. I feel like you need to inoculate your children against it and be like, these people are going to be bringing this stuff up, and it's not true. It's not true at all. You are what you are, and you just got to learn how to be that. Like, even if you like to, maybe you're a more masculine girl, and you like to dress more like a guy, or you like guy sports or whatever, typically masculine things are. It's like that's what you are, though. You're still a girl. You're always gonna be a girl. You're always gonna be a woman. You're always gonna be a female. And that's it. There's nothing you can do about that. So everybody's got to accept what they are biologically, because you cannot transform. You can't. It doesn't work.
I honestly think, like, if I had to be just perfectly honest with you, and I had a conversation with my wife. Shout to the notorious CRC. If you're not following her, you should. I had a conversation with her a while ago, and she had asked me, like, why did I have such a hatred for the gender cult. I don't have any kids, though I'm an uncle 7 times over. Okay, I got 5 nephews, 2 nieces, and my 11-year-old niece is, she's at that age where they would where she might be vulnerable to something like that. And I think what I hate the most, there's no need to misconstrue anything.
There's a lot to hate about this, man.
I hate this movement. I hate the people who are in it. I hate what they are doing to children, what they have done to adults. I hate that Democrats and I hate that Democrats have decided in their boredom, because I'm just gonna say it is a boredom that is that's there, right? Like, you figure you're privileged, you're affluent, there's nothing really to worry about. And so let's look for the next big thing. You've already, they won with Obergefell, right? Like the whole, like same-sex marriage, that battle was won with the Obergefell decision. And these people had they had all this money left over. They had all this time left over. They'd won the war, as it were. So now let's focus in on this new perversion.
Well, they needed new civil rights.
They needed
movements.
a new civil. Yeah, they needed a new
racism
civil
was
rights.
getting increasingly, irrelevant and in the rearview mirror, especially systemic racism.
Yeah.
And obviously the gay. What other rights do gay people have to fight for after that? So it's like, well, we need to still find an oppressed minority. So they start indoctrinating new children in this, and they also indoctrinate kids and critical race theory stuff, which just makes people racist again. Literally makes people racist against white people. And then, of course, white people eventually, after being told they're terrible for a decade, are going to get racist back, as you're saying with people like Nick Fuentes. And there's a audience for it because people are being openly racist and bigoted and systemically racist with DEI stuff against white people and men and Christians and all that. So it's like, they're trying to create new monsters and to slay. And they're trying to create new civil rights movements to defraud people and take their money and get more votes and all of that, while they also try to import millions of votes as well with an open border policy. It's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I know, if you're on the left, you think that's like all conspiracy theory and crazy, but it's like, that looks completely clear to me. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
Aaron, well, you are a little bit, but I love you. Anyway.
Yes, I am. I'm a little bit crazy. That's true.
A
little bit.
I mean, rooting for Real Madrid. I mean, but anyways.
Well, that's not crazy, man. You get used to that, man. You get used to that.
What was I going to say? Aaron, like, you being a leftist, a self-described leftist.
Recovering.
Apostate.
Praise God. Yeah. You're out of there. But like, when was your turn? Like, when did you start to realize that the people that you had been voting aside for, and been of one accord with for so long, when did you have your apostate moment, so to speak?
I don't know if this hadn't happened if I ever would have come to the light. I mean, they messed with my kid. I'm a mom. It's instinctual. They messed with my cub. But it was really when I started to turn to people for help. So we went to the school and thought, okay, surely they're going to think this was wrong. Like, we should not have literally sexually abused my daughter in a private setting and taught her to lie to her parents about it, and brought in this predator called Skittles, who's talking to her about polyamory. Like, surely they're going to think that was wrong. No, they thought that it was perfectly fine. That's why they sent Child Protective Services in when I raised a red flag. And then I went to the school board, and it turns out half the school board have trans identified kids. They were proud of what had happened. They tried to completely gaslight and appease me. Then I turned to family, who I've lost most of my family and friends. My corporate career let me go because I was in corporate HR. So, like, good riddance. What a horrible job.
God.
But I lost my career over this. And it was like, I kept turning to people for help. I called the news. The news didn't care. Well, they knew this was happening. And it was really when someone took me under my wing. I actually got connected to a journalist named Alex Newman. If you guys aren't familiar with him, you should follow him. He's just absolutely brilliant. And he was like, this is a big deal, Erin. This is going to blow up. And it was just the conservatives and the Christians who embraced me and who went, no, you're right. This is wrong. And we're going to help you through it. To your previous points, I just want to say, LGB is the Trojan horse for the TQ plus agenda. I hate when the two get conflated. People call me a homophobe all the time. And I'm like, well,
Me too.
one is about accepting who you are, and one is about fundamentally rejecting who you are. So they couldn't be more different, and how disgusting that the two get conflated. And they pander to our kindness. I call it toxic empathy, like Allie Beth Stuckey says, or toxic kindness, where we're all inherently good, but they pander to that this is the kind, right, nice thing to do. And people just fall into that, myself included. I studied elementary education in my undergrad. So I was a teacher in the early 2000s, and I had been indoctrinated into almost going along with it. But because it was my own kid and I knew better, I knew she was not a boy trapped in the wrong body, that I just kind of activated and went, okay, everyone's against me. I'm going to have to find new friends and fight back.
And this is, and something that you said, like it's fundamentally rejecting who you are as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that they do is they turn it on its head, because the one thing which you have to understand about the gender cult, if you don't already, matter of fact, this is more for the audience. What you have to understand is that this is a Gnostic movement. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that you can go about, but the basics of Gnosticism is this: anything that is the physical self is considered evil under Gnosticism, and that which is spiritual is the only thing that's considered good. Okay, and so what they do is they'll go, well, you'll hear these people talk a lot about how trans people are looking to live as their quote unquote authentic selves, because the outside, the outside, the body, the meat sack that they were born with, and that the evil OBGYN doctor, like him down there, he assigned, he would assign the child a gender, a birth, right? And I do have a question regarding that, Travis, because I do want to come back to you. But but you have to understand, this is Gnosticism. They think that by defiling and mutilating the flesh on the outside, that the authentic self, the one that's inside, can come out and be realized. It's satanic. It honestly is. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It is a satanic religion that seeks to destroy the physical body, to sever. What it does is it severs the bond between a person's mind and the rest of their body. It's literally turning people against themselves. Now, I do want to ask you this, Travis, in your professional opinion. Were you ever given any tools? Were you made aware of any tools or any methods of assigning children a sex at birth?
So I'm going to tell you a story.
Is there a handbook or anything that the state of Colorado issued you? Do you walk in and they go, how
do you choose? How do you choose? I mean, you're assigning the birth, the sex of these children, the gender. It's like, I mean, it's just like the mood you're in that day. What gives it away? What would possibly give it away for these?
You bring up a good point. So I reach in my bag of bigotry and just roll the dice.
Yeah.
And then what's crazy is that I'm right like 99.9% of the time. So it's crazy that it's random, but also accurate. Really accurate.
That is.
Is your bag of bigotry black?
No comment. I'm not. No comment, Isaiah. When I was in med school, we had a test in anatomy lab, and the first test, as a joke, like the seniors had wrapped like a string around male genitalia, and they were like, and the question was, what sex is this patient? And I remember just like being like offended because that was so disrespectful to like a dead body that had donated their body to science. And I never said anything. I was just like, that was disrespectful. And looking back, like that was the most important question on the damn test.
Wow.
That's that entryism. That's entryism. If you can't, like, what entryism is, okay. And Erin will know this from her previous profession because it starts in HR. Entryism is a process where the gatekeepers of a particular institution or place of business, right, will screen for political alignment instead of expertise.
Wow.
Okay, that's what they do, right?
Yes.
Like
I
when
knew about that,
perhaps you know about all of the those diversity statements that they would have, like lawyers, like prospective lawyers going through law school would have to fill out, and doctors would have to fill out. Remember a while ago when, and I gotta find this video, where a bunch of med school students, like a graduating class of students, they did like this pledge of allegiance to DEI instead of the Hippocratic Oath. I'm gonna find this while during our discussion, but it was the most insane thing that I'd ever seen. But they do that because they want to be sure that whoever they bring in is politically aligned with the movement. Erin, let's talk for a second about because I just saw what you sent me.
I just sent you the video too, the wolf video that I was describing. I just hit your inbox.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. But I want to go through this. Serious question. I'm gonna read this. Serious question. What would you do? Please read. Imagine your little girl was groomed by a sick, predacious woman who ran a gender and sexuality club for 2-year-olds called Skittles, whom the public school invited into your child's 6th grade classroom for a secret gender and sexuality club, which the teacher told your child was an art club. Unthinkable things happened to your child in that club, and it led to the worst year of her life and almost killed her and destroyed her family. Imagine you found out and cut your child off from the predator, the one her teacher connected her to online and by phone, who is friends with the school board, celebrated by the mayor, works for the county, and does anything she wants in your community, including harming and kidnapping other people's children. I'm gonna let that show. Get a good look at that, folks. They got a Discord server and everything. And this right here, this will be the last thing. And when she desperately could not reach your child privately, she made a hashtag of your child's name and continued to harass her online years later. And school board members like and share the post.
Jesus, that's unhinged. That is unhinged, man. How unprofessional and perverse.
And you can see she made this account to mock me. So I go by Erin for parental rights. She made this account Kimberly for parental responsibility, which was just a page to harass my child.
Okay. Like what? That's terrible. What a loser.
This is struggle session shit. That's what this is.
They're so warped, man, to be thinking that that's even anywhere near appropriate.
Tell us, Erin, what went through your mind as you were when you first got this stuff?
I mean, I'm lucky I'm not in jail. My husband gets that a lot. Like, as a father, how are you not behind bars right now? I think God intervened in my case and was like, nope, that's not going to be productive. Do this instead.
Right. Totally.
I just made a vow really early on that it was like, I'm going to get as loud as possible. I'm going to get loud. I'm going to let other people know this is happening because it's intentional. The school board is protecting her. The mayor is protecting her. So we live in a very blue area, Fort Collins, Colorado. I call it San Francisco on steroids, where like it's like upside down clown world where this is normal and I'm the villain. And even 5 years later, that's the impression that my community has of me. I'm a bigot, and what happened to my daughter was completely justified. And she just gets away with it. So I made that vow to get really loud. And I will say, once we got our daughter out of the cult, it was about a year, and we watched What is a Woman together, which I know Matt Walsh is coming after my boy James Lindsay, so maybe I won't recommend his film anymore. But we watched it as a family, and my daughter goes, "Why didn't I understand this was happening to me, Mom?" I was like, "You were 12. They took advantage of you. You were a child." And she goes, "How do I make sure this doesn't happen to other little girls?" And that was like the light bulb moment where it was like, oh, I'm going to get loud. I'm going to get really freaking loud. I'm going to stand on the rooftop and scream it to everyone who will listen, because it's not going to stop. But like you said, we've got to inoculate our kids from it. We have to make sure people know what's happening so that they can prevent it from happening to their kid.
Yeah.
How prevalent is this like throughout Colorado? Like what's the makeup of Colorado primarily? Like why, like help me understand, like, because I've never been to Colorado. I've never visited. I don't know anybody from that state. Help me understand, like what is the state like, and why, like when did this start becoming so prevalent, like as a whole? And that's a question open to both of you. You can answer as you.
Well, Travis is the lifer, but I have been paying a lot of attention to this as an outsider. And again, I feel like it's the state mandated religion. We have the first gay governor. Which again, LGB shouldn't be conflated with TQ+, but he very much pushes this agenda. We have a radical super majority in our state legislature. So like our 19 Republicans can't do anything even if they wanted to. And so they legislate us to death on this. We even have a law that passed this year that Travis and I fought against that criminalizes people who write a death certificate if they refuse to write the person's gender identity. So the person has died. The doctor looks at their body and goes, "That's a male." But the family says, "No, they're a female." So they have to officially record on the death certificate, which then goes into data. Like we're going to be the first state to have a rise in women dying from prostate cancer due to this law. It's insanity, but they've mandated us to death and normalize it. And I'll just say this, Colorado is very much always been a libertarian state, very live and let live. And I think we are a tragic example of that going too far. Like we should draw the line at children chopping their body parts off. We should draw the line at parents having their kids ripped out of their arms because they won't agree to mutilate their children. But that's how far it's gotten, where live and let live has just gone way too far. And I also just want to say thanks for covering Colorado. We're like the lost, forgotten redheaded stepchild of California. And everyone goes, "Oh, well, they're gone. They're so far gone, they can't come back." I don't think that's true. I think we're still very much a libertarian state. But, the legislation and the culture has just shifted so far that we've got to bring it back.
Travis, what did since you are the lifer, the Colorado lifer, when did you start noticing this?
Travis, can you hear me?
Travis, can you hear us? Yeah. When did you start noticing this stuff in Colorado, like throughout your practice? Or
I can hear Erin and Nino fine.
You can hear Erin, but you can't hear me?
Yeah, for some reason you can't hear you, Isaiah, I guess.
I can. Lip read, Travis. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Yeah,
I can hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah.
Erin can hear me, but Travis can't.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's crazy. Okay.
What happens when we talk out about Colorado?
Yeah, exactly. When I needed to talk about. So the question I have is, matter of fact, Nino,
Yeah. So did you let me so you said, when did he start just hearing about this the transgender what's the word agenda coming into what, schools and hospitals, or in what way?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really notice it at first. First I was busy with other things. My kids were fine, whatever. So in 2021, I started noticing that they're pushing this as normal. It's like Isaiah was talking about the entryism. I mean, you're having to agree to certain things to get into medical school. You're having to write diversity, equity, inclusion stuff. And then my I guess I won't name the name, but a major insurer that I work with was like, hey, if you guys have to educate all your front desk and yourself on like diversity, equity, inclusion, and you need to report your gender and your sexual identity. And then, in fact, the state mandated that, and then kind of backed off right before they pulled the trigger on that. But they still have, the insurers still have to ask, like, my sexual identity and the front desk, how many of them are either different sexual identities or have been trained in how to, greet and introduce people of other sexual identities. Like, that's somehow important. And then the laws, like Erin was talking about, some of them, she didn't even get to, I think, 1312, which we probably won't talk a lot on because we're suing the state on, but basically deals with free speech and what you can say in relation to these things. And then 1309 was passed this year and signed into law, and it mandates every kind of surgery for anybody who says that they're trans, including Botox, hair removal, lip filler, significant facial surgery, breast surgery. But if it doesn't mandate that insurance covers that if you're like post cancer or something in a woman, it only mandates that if you say that you're trans, and there's no age limits on that, which we fought for. So, these kind of laws, what it does is it sets it up so then when, God forbid, you and your spouse or whatever get into troubles and start splitting up, if one of you is pro permanently castrating your kid with chemicals or whatever, they're going to side with that person and say you're abusive. So all these laws, it's not just like,
oh my God,
these laws, they really build up, right? So if you want to adopt a kid and you are like, hey, adopt a kid, I don't care if they're, say they're gay or whatever, but I'm not going to chemically castrate them. Well, then you're just not going to be allowed to adopt in Colorado. And we can post that later in your X feed. So it's super discriminatory towards just people that don't want to hurt their kid.
Just regular people.
It's crazy that the morality has been turned upside down so much. Like,
it's inverted.
The right thing to do is like criminal and abuse, and the totally abysmal wrong thing to do is celebrated and has the full force of the law behind it, and full education and insurance companies. How did things get like that, where there's such a concerted alignment of these like institutions all being like overnight? The blueprint, how Democrats won Colorado, is that what it says?
Yeah, Erin can explain that, but that's what happened.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah,
that's a good question to answer eventually. And what do they stand to gain from it? But
so
go
we
ahead.
had what's called the Gang of Four, which includes our current governor, Pat Stryker of the Stryker Medical Corps, who lives just down the road from me. Tim Gill, who was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Biden, lives in Jefferson County, which you've probably all heard of. Jefferson County, they are the worst school district in the country. Higher Rate Check keeps coming out and being like, they're absolutely the worst. Like, I've seen them all, but they are the worst. It was called The Gang of Four, and then a guy named Rhett Bridges. This book is a beautiful book about it that basically they lay out their plan. They just very strategically went after school board seats, city council seats, House seats, and flipped the entire state of Colorado in a decade, just pooling their money together. And their philosophy was, you're a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, doesn't matter what that means, we're together. And so they united, they funneled millions of dollars into it. They created all these shell corporations to fund the races, and they just flipped the state from like very red to blue in a matter of 10 years.
Was that Soros funded?
I'm sure he's involved in that, but these four billionaires who live in Colorado were very open that they put their own money where their mouth is.
Stryker, so I'm guessing Arcus Foundation was part of that.
Yes.
Tim Gill is a massive, this is, ladies and gentlemen, there's like a big group of 4 billionaires. There are 4 primary donors and to anything trans or gender cult related. Tim Gill is one of them. John Stryker of Arcus Foundation is another. Soros Open Society is definitely part of it, but the Tides Foundation is another. And then and then there's one
Rothblatt, the Pritzkers.
The Pritzkers, that's what Martine Rothblatt, who is now on the board of the Mayo Clinic. Yeah. Matter of fact, Martine Rothblatt is the one. A lot of people don't know this. The founder of Sirius XM Radio. Yeah. The founder of Sirius XM Radio is Martine Rothblatt, the one who made a robot out of his wife. Yeah. That fiend
A
is
robot?
on the board. Yes.
What do you mean a robot? What do you do?
There is a
Like he made one look like her?
yes, he did. I'll find that video right now. I will show
is
you.
Is his wife still around?
Yeah. He's the one who wrote a book called From Transgender to Transhumanism.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he loved his wife that much.
Book.
He needed a spare.
James read that book on a plane on a plane ride last year. He was fucking horrified. He was horrified after reading that book. I remember when he tweeted about it. Like you can ask James. But Arcus Foundation, you'd be surprised. Arcus Foundation is in everything. Everything. They're involved in so many of the laws and so much of the like financing of gender cultism. Anything that Arcus Foundation money touches is going to go you're automatically captured.
People should be imprisoned.
They should be, and they won't. This is a list of the list that Erin was telling me about. Of all of the laws that all the bills that have been, and I don't know if they've been passed or what, and I'll let you, Erin, you can tell me one way or another. But let's see here. HB 119-1120, 12-year-olds decide mental health care without parental knowledge or consent. HB 1129, ban on conversion therapy. That's an inversion. Must affirm gender-confused children. 1032, comprehensive sexuality education. What? 1003, mandates mental health screening for all 6th to 12th graders and iMatter. Erin, you can fill me in on that. Fill us in on that. Non-legal name change forces all teachers to socially transition children. Let me see what else here. 1071 allows transgender felons to legally change their name. Tiara's law? Oh dear God.
Yeah.
Oh dear God.
You want to know who Tiara is? Tiara, Travis, catch me, because again, we're suing the state over this. I got to be really careful what I say. Tiara no longer identifies as they used to. They have a criminal record of lewd behavior and sexual abuse of children. And our legislators named this law after them so that this man could change his identity and erase his criminal history. And now he's legally Tiara. There, I said it.
That's how you become a hero in Colorado.
Yes, that's
Travis, give us.
You got to tell them about iMatter, Isaiah. You got to let her.
What is?
about
iMatter,
yeah.
What is that?
Privately.
I'm about to have a stroke.
So this law, they mandated mental health screening. Then the results go to the school, not the parents, because again, 12-year-olds steward their own health care. So even if you opt your child out of the mental health screening, which they're not required to tell you about, but you find out you opt your kid out, your kid can opt themselves back in without your knowledge. And then when they're deemed high risk, they're referred to the state's mental health program called iMatter. So I did it. I took the screening. I was deemed high risk. First of all, I was a healthy 38-year-old woman. I was not high risk, which tells me all the kids are being deemed high risk. Then I was referred to iMatter, and every single one of the therapists they put in front of me were sex work positive and LGBTQ affirming. So our kids are being screened and sent to counselors without our knowledge, and it's the state's counselors who are all pushing, well, they're mandated by law to push gender ideology, but they're all part of the cult. And parents have no idea it's happened.
Sex work positive. So that's like a career lane that they could push on children.
I guess. Well,
right?
here's another fun fact. In Colorado, you can rape 3 children on 3 separate occasions. You are guaranteed probation 100% of the time, unless there are other serious offenses. And my friend Brandy Bradley, who's a brave representative here, ran a bipartisan bill 3 years in a row to try to stop that. Every single Democrat voted no on it. They sent it to Kill Committee. They all voted no. And they said, first of all, children need to be able to prostitute themselves because LGBTQ kids are historically isolated from their families. They get alienated by their unaccepting families, and then they need to be able to prostitute. And they also were worried about the offenders. They said, well, we're not an eye for an eye state. Rep. Lorena Garcia, who's an actual demon, said, well, we're not an eye for an eye state. So we're not, if we send these rapists to prison, they're going to get raped. And we're not an eye for an eye state. So we don't want these rapists to be raped.
So these male prisoners transitioning, transitioning to female in a female prison. They're not going to be raping any women, of course. They wouldn't do that.
No,
These
they are women.
Sex offenders would never rape any women.
Well, they put some of these people in the women and child ward, which
and the women and child ward.
That's a whole nother bag of worms that we won't even get into. But in most states, the men who identify as women who get put in the women's prison oftentimes get put in the mother and baby ward.
So let me ask you this: when did Satan become the lead Democratic strategist in Colorado?
I'd say about 2018 when Jared Polis was elected, or we can date back to like 2008 when he and the Gang of Four, along with the Colorado Education Association, the CEA, the teachers union, is the linchpin. That's where they met every week to strategize the blueprint. That's it. That's when Jared Polis is Satan.
Oh, people are saying we got to keep God out of politics. We got to keep Satan out of politics too. Let's do that as well.
You've not this never I never get used to this.
How could you?
I've been every time it's like you think you've heard it all, and then you find out what these animals are doing on the state level and on the local level, and you're just like, oh my God, how could this, literally it's state sponsored pedophilia. It is state sponsored when Erin, just let me make sure I hear this correctly. You said that someone could someone could rape a child 3 times and they would get probation in the state of Colorado.
3 kids on 3 occasions. And it's not until you're a serial offender, I don't remember the exact term they use, but it's not until the 4th child that you're going to be penalized with jail time. This was a mandatory jail time. 4 years is what they were asking for. Let's put these monsters away for 4 years. And the Democrats could not agree to that. Yes, we are the most child rape friendly state.
You probably won't be seeing that on your Visit Colorado ads, I imagine, right?
Travis, we're
proud
Travis,
to be the most.
Can you hear me, Travis, at all, or he still can't hear me?
It's so abysmal. This might be some of the worst things, if not the worst things I've ever heard on our podcast, on our young podcast.
And you know what's sad is most Coloradans have no idea. I live at the legislature, and when I leave the Colorado State Capitol, I do 12 Hail Marys. I'm not Catholic, and take 3 showers and do a juice cleanse because it is evil. It is evil in that building.
It is evil.
Coloradans don't know. They don't have time to watch these laws that are just being passed at one after these unconstitutional laws that we're then forced to sue. And it takes 5 to 6 years to get up to the Supreme Court and actually handle it. And in the meantime, people are hurt, people are transitioned and raped, and people are out on the street hurting people. But most Coloradans just have no idea that these things have even been passed. And when you tell them, they don't believe it.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I see that a lot from people I know who just it never enters the news. You would think this stuff would enter the news. They watch CNN, or it's obviously not in their algorithm, of course, because they're Democrats or on the left, or they're just don't care about politics at all. So they don't see it there. And then, they're not going to see, CNN's not going to talk about this ever. New York Times is probably never going to talk about it, really. Washington Post isn't really going to talk about it. MSNBC is going to celebrate it, if anything, and probably have the people on that you're talking about and talk about how great they are. Only place to go it would be Fox News, and Fox, they're never going to watch Fox News. So, and then maybe some conservative journals or some podcasts. So they think you're crazy. They think that, that can't be true. You're just a crazy right-wing conspiracy theorist. I've seen that myself when I tell people things. I'm like, look this shit up, man. Look it up. And I think a lot of them don't want to believe it. It's, they don't want to believe that their side could possibly do something like that. And it's better to just not look at it. Keep your head in the sand.
I want to go just real quick. It is sad. It is sad, brother. Let me just go through some of these comments. Because we've got a lot of people. Like I said, thank you again, chat, for your participation tonight and for talking about this stuff. Forest Mommy again says these bills are insane out here. I can't even believe it half the time at the Capitol. We got a Rumble user. Be bad sad says children learn to use sex. It is held about state position of policy. I don't understand. Maybe you can tell us what you meant. Monkey Trump 24, a Rumble user writes, there was already a case about 2 years ago in California. A male identified as female went to a female's prison and knocked up 5 inmates. I think I remember hearing about that case myself. I've never we
need guys like that spreading their genetics down the human race.
Yeah. Forest Mommy also says most people don't pay attention to state and local. Absolutely. And I'm gonna say this, and because we are, I guess you could say, a national podcast. Like we broadcast everywhere, like around the world. We got to do better at this, at talking about local issues, especially with us living in blue states. Because again, like this type of shit creeps up. Like I live in New York. Like this stuff is definitely happening here.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure I could go through.
And I want to have these guys back on too, by the way. If you guys want to come back on for because this is just, people need to hear this every day until it changes. But like, especially if there's anything you guys need to promote, anything that's new, any kind of updates, any kind of things or crazy things they're trying to push through and need, push through that needs attention, like please let us know.
Absolutely. Hi Kid, an ex-user writes, the current lobbyist for the school district that harmed Erin's daughter was a key member of the Gang of Four, which flipped Colorado blue. Erin, who are let me just ask you real quick as we go into our second hour. This is Apostate Radio episode 37. Erin, and I need to figure out what's going on with Travis's audio. Why he can't hear me. Who are the Gang of Four? When did they come to power? And why is this happening? Why is this happening?
Yeah, I wish I could explain why. I mean, all roads lead to Marxism. When people ask me, like, where did this come from? Well, it's been creeping up on us for a long time. Karl Marx actually laid out exactly what was going to happen when we marched through the institutions. But so it's Jared Polis, our current governor, who is gunning for president. By the way, he's going to take Michael Bennett's Senate seat. Michael Bennett is, if the Democrat wins in Colorado, which I love my Republican gubernatorial candidates, but is likely. And if he does, Governor Polis will take the Senate seat and then he will run for president. He wants to be the first gay president. So Jared Polis, Pat Stryker of the Stryker Medical Corp, Tim Gill, and a guy named Rut Bridges is the fourth millionaire. And then Ann Barkus is this person that Hi Kid was talking about, who is my school district's lobbyist at the Capitol and who runs insane bills like trying to get rid of Sunshine Law, trying to eliminate Colorado Open Record Act so that people like me can't actually see what was happening with our children. And people should watch a movie called Rocky Mountain Heist on Rumble. It's like 45 minutes long. It's like the short version of this book, The Blueprint, which is a really easy read. But everyone in every state, blue and red, needs to pay attention because the Blueprint, they openly said their next target was Texas. It was not another blue state. And if you look at the Texas legislature, the people who are Republicans are actually Democrats. And that's exactly what happened, is they manipulated the state legislature and they're taking over Texas. So red and blue states alike, people need to watch Rocky Mountain Heist or read The Blueprint and understand it's already happening in your state.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt here if I can and just say, Erin's right. This is a red state problem just as much as a blue state. I give Florida some partial credit. But for example, I told you how in Colorado, I ran a policy saying, hey, we should do this to kids. And 2/3 of doctors were like, heck no, done, stop. Well, Texas, their professional association that represents doctors, they ran a policy a little bit ago. And they said, hey, we're not going to be like as crazy as those Coloradans that try to, just ban it. Let's look at the evidence. Just look at the evidence. And 85% of their organization said, no, let's not even look at it. Let's just do what everybody else is doing. Marxist solidarity is kind of what you're talking about, Isaiah. And the reason is two things. One is because in Colorado, when we voted and everybody wanted to protect kids, the doctors did. It's because it was the normal doctors. In Texas, when they voted, it was these high up doctors in these organizations. And so it's very much like you say, Marxist. It's like a Soviet or committee. It's an organizational hijack thing. And those doctors high up, yeah, they're hijacked. And so what my point is, in these red states, they're all completely hijacked. They're universities, they're professional organizations, they're teachers organizations. They're completely hijacked. So it's cool that you have like a Republican governor and, you know, more senators or something. You have the same problems, honestly.
So when you say hijacked, is it purely ideological, or Travis, or is it is there things of money interest going on as far as like maybe from insurance companies wanting to make money off of, or maybe certain medical associations or something trying to make money off these kind of surgeries? Like, is it purely ideological incentives, you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of different motivations, I think. It's a great question, very great question. It's multiple different people have different incentives, right? So the doctor just wants to help somebody. They're just like, oh, and bleeding heart. Aaron called it toxic empathy, like Ali Bestucky said. They just want to help some people, or they want to be the one doing the cutting edge cool stuff that's on TV and so it's like an ego thing or feeling special. But yeah, some of these bigger organizations, there's different motivations. So if you're a children's hospital, I mean, I'm not saying you're gonna, or say the pharmacy will sell some of these medicines that chemically castrate like boys that they use at our children's hospital. We have one of the dirty dozen children's hospitals that does this to kids. We both know kids that this is happening to in Children's Hospital, Colorado. That medicine lists for like 25 grand for like 6 months or a year. And I've seen insurance pay over $150,000 for one dose. So
why would they do that?
Well,
that is ridiculous.
The honest truth is they also are captured, for one. So a lot of these other organizations, this is a whole another discussion, but all these organizations, they all work together. So some of the organizations that are going back into the medical associations and the medical schools and trying to make them all Marxist or ideologically conformed, however you want to say that, they're working together. I can show you. I'll put a link in the chart or whatever. It's the nurses association, it's the doctors association, it's the AARP, the retired people, it's the insurance, it's the health insurance. So the hospitals, all these big groups, not little groups, big groups are coming together to do this. And I think it's probably the same thing as in medicine. You get one doctor or four doctors that are super big on this. They start a committee, and then everybody's like, well, that's what the LGBTQ committee said to do, so we got to do it. And everybody just goes along because they don't want to be transphobic or whatever. Right. But nobody else checks them because they don't want to be oh, I didn't want to say anything bad. And so a small group, in HR, sorry, Aaron, can take over the whole organization. And that's what I think happens in a lot of these organizations. There's more to it than that. Insurers, they don't really care, honestly, how much they spend. I've dug into this because everyone's like, well, why don't they follow up on this fraud? Well, it turns out they don't care about fraud because they just up your premium. Like our premiums in Colorado are going up, they say like 50% next year for insurance. For if you have health insurance, 50%. That's in the news. I'm not making that number up. And hey, I'm not saying it's all of it, but it's no coincidence also that this year they required them to cover all these trans surgeries and everything. They don't care. They just up the premium. They know you have to have it. You're going to pay it. So why?
That's just crazy that they would pay $150,000 for one dose of chemical castration medicine. $150,000 for one dose.
Yeah, it's an implant. So, the kid might have it for 12 months or something, but that's still, $25,000 is a lot. So
of course, yeah, that's a lot. Do you see any any pressure from the federal government that's to kind of overturn some of these things, or anything in the pipeline for that?
Yeah, the big thing is the Trump administration has actually been very organized on this, right? So they came out of the gate with some great executive orders saying we're not going to do this. Then you had the Human Health and Services came out with a really good report that said, hey, this is not good medicine. This is bad medicine. And now you have the Federal Trade Commission saying this is fraud, and you have the Department of Justice actually investigating. They've subpoenaed our major children's hospital in Denver, Children's Colorado. They've subpoenaed some other big hospitals. And then now if that leads to what Florida's doing now, came out last week, Florida's attorney general is basically, I guess they're investigating or suing. I'm sorry, we've had such a busy week. Aaron and I are trying to raise some money for this thing. I haven't caught up on my reading, but they're either investigating or working towards suing some major organizations that are doctors organizations that have been basically flat out lying to people about the safety of these procedures and medicines. So they do see it as criminal. So yeah, so we'll see, because if honestly, if medical organizations have to be responsible for frankly, lies that they're putting out there, that could make a difference.
And I just want to caution people, like, the federal government's not coming to save us. You know, I've had a lot of people, willful ignorance and apathy are my biggest hurdles in Colorado, but now add to that complacency from the people who did care previously, because they go, oh, well, the executive orders, it's fixed. Like girls' sports, that's fixed. Well, guess what? Less than 8% of the funds that fuel our public schools come from the federal government. And our state straight up said, we're just not going to take it. I don't need your money. I'll just tax Colorado citizens even more. And we'll continue to do the nonsense in the schools, in the hospitals, in the family court system. Like, you can't stop us. Our law supersedes federal law. So, and not to be pessimistic, but the cavalry is not coming from the federal government. We can't even pass a protection for girls' sports at the federal level. I find it hard to believe anytime soon we're going to be banning these procedures on children, which is less popular than the girls' sports issue.
Yeah, because that seems to be like the rate. That seems to be like all the rage these days. The open defiance of states. It's a growing trend. It's like open defiance on the part of the federal government by the states. It's like, well, okay, we see this with immigration, not to change subjects, but you see this with immigration right now. You see this with redistricting. It's like, we're going to do all of this stuff, but we've had Democrats have said, like, all this year they've said, well, we want to, quote unquote, Trump proof our states. So so to hear all of this happening, like, it just doesn't surprise me. It hurts to hear this, because, like I said, I had no idea that your state was being run by just out and out demons. Like, this is and really the Democrat Party more broadly. Real quick, I do want to bring. Hi Kid said something, gave a quote here. It says, the reason it is so important to control government is because government is the source of enormous power. The way we get progressive change is to control government. That is a quote from Rob Stein, founder of Democracy Alliance. And he said that August 27th, 2008 at a Democrat National Committee meeting in Denver, Colorado. So that's what's happening. The Democrat Party is like already they're communist.
Go ahead.
Go
I mean, this information needs to get out there, man. But I mean, it's like, who the hell? I guess you got to be in the bubble, because who would ever vote for this? This what I'm hearing today is enough of a reason for me to not vote Democrat for another 20 years at least. Like, for real, I don't give a shit what Trump is doing. I don't care who he's making fun of. I don't care who he's arresting. I really don't care. Like, there's nothing that I've seen that even comes close to this. This is heinous.
Low voter turnout, I'll say that. But then also they play this game, and I assume that it's ubiquitous and everywhere does it, where they resign and appoint. So the most radical socialist legislators we have in Colorado, like Representative Lorena Garcia, I mean, we have like 6 very open DSA members that are really proudly DSA in our legislature, and they legislate that way. And they were all appointed because the sane, moderate Democrats dropped out, resigned their position, usually to run for higher office. And then they appoint these absolutely radical crazies, and then they pass laws, and the laws stand because all the colleagues go along with it, and the Republicans have no power in this state to fight back. So that's the game that they play. It's not the people voting for them in most cases, but also willful ignorance and apathy again.
Real quick, since we're still having a bit of an issue with Travis, I'm going to drop you down. Come back into the chat once you get to another browser. So let me just go ahead and drop you down. There you go. Oh boy.
And I'll say this too, Isaiah. I mean, I do hope like the gay community, the LGBs, start getting more involved in this, because I mean, this is really infringing on them, right? I mean, like, first of all, a lot of these kids that actually have gender dysphoria, if they actually had it, like for real, not being told that they have it, or having that seed planted with social contagion or whatever, or indoctrination. You know, a lot of these kids, and in past studies, I think in the Netherlands, it was like 69 out of 70 of them, like in a longitudinal study, show that they would all just become gay, most of them. So they're eliminating the gay population, you know, the young gay kids potentially. Obviously, I know I've heard a lot of lesbians complain about like men being in their spaces and that sort of thing, and then they're being pressured on dating apps, and then people coming from on the left saying things like, you know, if you don't like girl penis, you're a bigot or something like that. You know, like a woman's penis,
Cotton ceiling.
yeah, you're not really a lesbian. It's like the gay community's got to be like, what the hell is going on with this? And then of course they're being dragged in the mud with all this other heinous stuff you guys are bringing up, for example, as if that's part of their community, that's part of their agenda or something like that. When most of them just want to be, you know, just gay and have gay rights, get right to be married, nobody bothering them, and that's it. They don't really. They don't need to be. They don't want to be indoctrinating anybody's kids or being preying on people or having males going to women's prisons or playing women's sports. So I hope there's more of a political activation. I know there's Gays Against Groomers, you guys might be familiar with, that's doing great work on social media, but I think more of them need to stand up to this stuff, and more of everybody needs to stand up to it, because like, I mean, and I'll say one more thing. I think it's another thing you're seeing is like this push over the last couple decades, I think, especially more recently, to like have people not have kids and not get married, making women hate men. Now we have like the manosphere, toxic masculinity people out there, like the Tates of the world and Fuentes. They're kind of making men try to hate women. Whatever's pushing this stuff, it's like, you know, you're going to be less likely to understand what's going on and want to fight against this stuff if you don't have kids yourself, and you don't see it yourself, right? And you're just going to be go along with the political winds, go along with your group. And it seems like it's all of these things are conspiring and coalescing together to come to these certain agendas of like not having families, not having kids, or spaying and neutering your kids, or even euthanasia in Canada and stuff, assisted suicide, which isn't, you know, I don't think that's always a bad thing, but I think they had like 10,000 people they helped kill last year or something like that in Canada. It's like, and I think some of them were just like somebody was like a little bit depressed in their 20s or something, or maybe very depressed, whatever. It's like, maybe they could have did a little CBT, you know, cognitive behavioral therapy or something like that, and or tried some psychedelic drugs like MDMA or something like that could have helped, or microdosing. Like there's a lot of different things you could try, and maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I think it seems like a lot of people are being pushed into stuff very quickly. It's like, well, did you consider killing yourself? It's like, is that always the best medical? Yeah. Or did you consider cutting off your dick? You consider cutting off your breast? It's like, that's where we should go immediately, or ever? Is that ever really a good thing? Like, people should be serious about these questions.
This is so. I'm trying to find something, because Break the Chains Media, Rumble user says this is their agenda. Like everything that we've talked about so far, this is their agenda: globalism, liberal economic order, Agenda 2030. They infiltrate the legislature and pass these insane laws uncontested. That is absolutely a part of it. Break the Chains Media also have very nice things to say about Travis and Erin. They're absolute legends, and I am proud to fight alongside them. We're glad to have you in this fight as well.
So are we.
Forrest Mommy says it's awfuls being put in positions of power.
There's definitely that going on. Yeah.
God damn. That's oh my God. That's
sadly.
Let me see. One thing that I do disagree with. Break the Chain says, do not wait for the feds. They are slow and lazy. They do not care. I do not agree that they don't care. Slow, yes, because they've got a bunch of stuff going on the federal level right now, especially with Democrats trying to force their agendas through, and Republicans just basically sitting on their hands, like, okay, and you know, the establishment Republicans, because when Trump is not one of them, you know, but. So on the national, I mean, this is definitely something, and we talked about this before. Started to talk about this before. How there's too much focus on the national politics, because as we focus so much on the national, the locals getting ignored. So, and we're looking to remedy that, some of that tonight. Let's see here. What else we got? Travis, you hear us just fine, right?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
Okay, we're
good.
to go now. Awesome.
That kind of stuff happens on here, Travis. Don't worry.
Yeah, man.
You hear everybody but Isaiah. It was very frustrating, but
Yeah.
I know. It's annoying when that happens. Stuff like that has happened before here with other guests.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I finally, oh God, I finally got down to that evil video that was sent to Erin, like just going through this, right? Because I want to also go through a couple of well, I finally want to get the talk about the bill that we want that we're getting to tonight. But this shit here, like going back to this thread, let me just pull this thread back up. I've never seen something. I've never seen, like, I said this with not to be repetitious, but you think you've seen it all, and then you see this. So let me just go down to this video, because it's number 5 on your in your thread, Erin. She even posted videos like this, then claimed she did it because someone with an American flag drove on their with an American flag on their truck, drove behind her. Hold on. What the fuck is this?
He even looks evil, man. I mean,
Jesus,
it's like this weird. It's like this kind of weird, dark aesthetic to it.
Rabbit's gonna give me nightmares.
I rebuke that. You know what? Look,
it's like they can't hide it. And I gotta say too, it's like I love how they use like the baby colors, toddler colors and stuff for all of this, like the baby blue and the pink. And like it's just stuff that you would almost see in like a nursery or a daycare or something like that. And that's just their colors for everything. It's so clear what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they're openly pedophiles. Can you imagine just what I went through the day that I saw that video? I will say something funny, and I hope that bitch who did this to my kid is watching. I was traveling with my daughter when I was alerted to this video. She was, I think, 15 at the time. And I showed it to her, and she was like, "Mom, you should use her hashtag. That would really make her mad." So my kid is so cool that she just totally rejects all of this nonsense. Like, she's through it, she's over it. And this woman thinks that she's still going to get into my kid's head, that she can still get a hold of my kid and get her into the cult. She just couldn't be further away from the cult at this point in her life.
Thank God she's been inoculated. And I wanted to ask you, Erin, about that because I don't know if you answered. I think maybe you briefly did, but this is really important for a lot of parents. I think. Well, how did you exactly? I know you pulled your child out of school, so that's huge. But how else did you like deprogram her from like this beginning of beginning to think that she's trans or whatever? What was the process? Because maybe this can help some other parents.
And I've coached thousands of parents through it now.
Oh,
Again,
okay,
there's
perfect.
so many people who this has happened to. It's a much harder once, it's usually adolescent girls, 11 to 14, or older teen boys who have aged out, and the parents don't have a whole lot of say in what's happening.
They're rebellious and everything.
I'm lucky. Like, at the end of the day, I'm so lucky that it happened the way it did, when it did, that I was able to keep my child, that the teacher didn't successfully kidnap her, which has happened all over the state in Colorado. In fact, I just posted about Cindy Sign's story the other day. But we just removed every single negative influence. We took her out of school, the phone, the video games, the internet, the toxic friendships who were pushing this idea on her, and we replaced them with positive ones. My husband took her out on daddy-daughter dates every Friday. We took her to get Pokemon cards, to get new Nintendo Switch video games, because it's the only one that's not connected to the internet. So we cut off all internet access. And did she hate me? She hated me. And I had to say, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I never should have given you a phone. You're 12. You should not have unfettered access to the internet where predators can be communicating with you. I messed up. I did that. I'm so sorry that I put you in that school, that I gave you that phone. Like, I know it hurts right now, but you're going to thank me later. And guess what? She does. And she, in the summit that she did with Travis at his event, she even said, they asked her what would have happened if your mom had affirmed you. And she said, I would be dead. I would be dead if my mom had gone along with this and pushed me into that identity that was so dark and scary and horrific and didn't promise me any of the things they told me it would. I would have killed myself. I wouldn't be here.
Wow. And that's true. I mean, that's
God bless
likely.
you. God bless you, baby girl.
That's very likely with these kids. So it's like, that's another thing people don't look at. It's like it's the opposite of the truth. They say we're saving trans lives, we're saving trans children. It's like, no, the opposite is true. They're like, what, 20 times more likely to commit suicide than average kid their age at that point, something like that. Some kind of, it's a obviously, you know, as you would be if you just castrated yourself or just sterilized yourself or just mutilated your body thinking that was going to solve all your problems. Clearly there's something deeper going on, besides the fact that you've just been indoctrinated into something, but also you have probably some mental illness issues, or you have some kind of emotional issues, or puberty's bothering you. And it's like, you know, that's, again, like I said, like that's usually not going to help anybody, especially if you're a young kid. If you're like, I don't know, Bruce Jenner or something and you want to do this, I think you probably had enough time on earth to decide, okay, that's what you want to do. Also, I don't think he went through with the surgery, did he? Of
course
he's not a gonophile, so it's
90,
a fetish.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Listen, quick fact about that. About close to 90% of trans identifying males do not get the surgery. They don't, because this is a fetish. This is all a fetish. They do not be not deceived, ladies and gentlemen. This is not some brand new way of knowing. This is not some brand new way of understanding themselves. This is not some new wave of humanity. We had a big fight yesterday with this guy named Ian Copeland or whatever. This is not some brand new thing. This is not. This is indoctrination. This is a Marxist cult that wants to turn you against your own body and turn you against your own mind so that you in turn can turn to the state for your guidance. That is we are dealing with, and I'm looking,
and we're dealing with some demons, man. We're dealing with pedophiles. We're dealing with people who seem to get off on mutilating children and maybe preventing people from having families and stuff. I don't know what. I think people don't even know what is really pushing them sometimes to do things. They're deceived. They're seduced by the dark side. Literally, I believe that. And it's funny that, you know, you said 90% of adult male quote unquote transgender men don't go through with the surgery. Isaiah, is that what you said?
About 90%, close to 90%.
And it's like,
yes.
Shouldn't they be looking at that? Shouldn't the gender affirming care people looking at like, hey, these are adult men who claim to be trans. They don't even want to do it. Why the hell do you think a young child would want to do it? Why the hell do you think a young child would actually be happy with that decision when he or she is an adult?
Real quick, Amon, a good friend of the show, he asked a question of the both of you, and I'll let you both answer this. Either one of you can take it first. If you guys had a meeting with HHS, Health and Human Services, what are the urgent action items you would request support on federally?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start. Well, I mean, Medicare, Medicaid should not be reimbursing for these, especially for kids, just off the table. In fact, they shouldn't be reimbursing hospitals to do these procedures, especially on kids. That's right out of the gate. Honestly, they should be treating this with the same seriousness that we treat female genital mutilation. Just because it's cool in our culture and it's a cultural fad right now doesn't mean it's good. The science doesn't support it. We'd expect it to do harm. It does do harm. So you shouldn't be doing it to these kids. I mean, you want to call it assault, you want to call it mutilation. So they should be treating the organizations the many organizations, whether it's insurance, hospitals, professional organizations that push this and support it, they should be decertifying them so that the hospitals and insurance, especially government insurance, doesn't recognize them. Because right now, doctors are jailed to these organizations, right? So if I'm speaking against diversity, equity, inclusion, which I just want to be clear, I am. If my one of my certification organizations can right now tomorrow say I'm unprofessional, and then if I'm unprofessional, if I do that to more than they like, they can take away my certification, and then I can't get paid. I can't work for insurance. I can't build insurance. I can't work at a hospital. I can't get paid. So these little hooks are all throughout the whole multi-billion-dollar industry of healthcare, and the government is still propping this up, and through propping up these other organizations, we have a whole basically second shadow government that your votes don't count, your money doesn't count, your opinion doesn't count. And it's medical organizations, big insurance companies, big mega hospitals. They're doing this. And so you got to pull the plug on the ones that are. So that'd be probably my first kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a giant, sorry, forgive my French, but it's a giant circle jerk of medical organizations. It's like circular research, and the HHS review that recently came out really exposes that. So to them, I would say act on that. Act on that in the higher education institutions, act on that with these NGOs and medical institutions. I may or may not be meeting with HHS this week, so cross your fingers for that. But to that, I would also say pay attention to social transition. That is the first step on the conveyor belt. That's where they get these kids. And so often it's, well, it's just a name, it's just pronouns. In Colorado, it's mandated that teachers have to go along with it, that parents have to go along with it. But once a child changes their name, it's not easy to backtrack. Like, it was so hard for my daughter, even though she knew she didn't want to be trans anymore, to tell everyone, I want to be Chloe again. I don't want to do this anymore. It is not a hold harmless situation. And we need to be talking about and paying a lot more attention to social transition, because if you close that door, then the medical transition can never be opened.
I've just never, oh boy. Man, this is insane. So let's get into into the bill that you're trying to get done. Like, you've been raising money to get three things on the ballot. I'm stuttering all over the place because I'm just like, whew. This is a lot. I mean, man, let me get myself together here. Let me just bring this up. Bear with me 1 second, y'all, because here we go. Bringing up your Give, Send, Go page. This right here is one chance to protect kids. Act now. I'll read a little bit here. It says, across Colorado, children are facing real and urgent harm, from irreversible wrong sex procedures to biological males competing in women and girls sports and entering single-sex spaces, to the heartbreaking reality of child sex trafficking. PKC is leading a citizen-driven ballot initiative to advance 3 measures aimed at safeguarding kids across our state. And you have a chance to make sure we, the people, are successful at protecting kids from very real harm. Let's talk about this. I have included the link to this Give, Send, Go page on the top right corner of the screen. You tap on that. Well, you scan it with your phone, the QR code. You will be able to read that page. But Erin, if you could please tell us a little bit more about this, by all means.
We talked about how crazy our state legislature is. So needless to say, you can't pass good law in Colorado, and you can't even stop the bad, insane, crazy stuff. And so we're one of, I believe, 26 states that have the citizen ballot measure process. And in blue states, that's all we have. In Article 5, Section 2 of the Colorado Constitution, it says, we, the people, reserve the right to pass law independent of the legislature. And that's what we're doing. I will say that the legislature hates this process because we were able to circumvent them. And so they have red taped it to death. It is very hard to achieve this goal of, it's about 200,000 signatures we need on each of the issues. It's become a millionaire's game where you can only pass ballot measures if a billionaire comes in and gives you multi-million dollars and you're able to buy the signatures. But at Protect Kids Colorado, my organization, it was our heart to shift culture as we shift legislation to break the mold of how this process is done. And so we deployed an army of over 1,500 volunteers now who are carrying these petitions all over the state, having conversations in their churches with their neighbors, their friends. They're taking them to Thanksgiving dinner. And we believe we're about halfway there to the signatures. But we had a funder who fell through for the other half. And that's because Colorado is batshit. And no one will come to save us. They actually took my language to Maine and Nevada, instant funding, but they wouldn't give us a penny here in Colorado. And we said, okay, well, we're halfway there. I'm not going to let this army down of people. We're not going to let this go. This isn't going to happen any other way than this process. And so we're fundraising for, it's about $250,000 per issue to get the remaining signatures to get on the ballot. And when we get on the ballot, these will pass. People, when we talk about the LGBs are afraid to talk about it out loud, they'll vote for it. A lot of Democrats, they won't say it out loud.
Right, they'll vote for it.
Chastised by their family, but when you put it in front of them privately, they will circle that bubble, yes, to pass this law. So we know they'll pass. We just are pushing really hard to build that safety net back and be able to purchase the other half of our signatures, or the last quarter even.
Yeah, but would you say, like, nationally, was this like an 80-20, 90-10 issue, even for like Democrats?
Well, New York Times came out and said these are 80-20 issues, all of them. Mutilating children, girls' sports. Trafficking is more of like a 95-5 issue. In fact, when we were doing focus groups on the language, people were striking out life in prison and writing in death penalty. Like, if you rape, buy, or sell a child, death penalty. We don't have capital punishment in Colorado anymore. You probably aren't surprised. We do have assisted suicide in Colorado like they do in Canada. But we don't have death penalty. But so the three issues are stopping these surgeries on kids. We didn't do the chemical castration because people weren't ready to vote on it here, and we need a win. Protecting girls' sports, and then making stricter penalties if you buy or sell a child, because as we talked about, we have very, very loose laws that allow these perpetrators to go right back on the streets and do it again.
Oh my God.
That's great. That is encouraging, though, that it is. And that's what I find. I think that, like, once people know, nobody knows the details about this besides some conservatives, some disaffected liberals, anti-gender, gender cult people like ourselves. But nobody else really knows. Like, this just hasn't been shown to them. If you're not in that algorithm or being exposed to it, you have no. In fact, I just learned a bunch of things today, right, about Colorado, and I am plugged in. I've been plugged in for years. So I think it is really so important for us to get all this information out there as much as possible. Talk to people one-on-one, be like, did you see this? Did you know they're doing this? You didn't know that, did you? You just think that everybody just hates trans people and hates gay people. You think that's what's going on. It's absolutely not what's going on. And yeah, then the political will is there. It is so crazy that they've done this to us and in Colorado, but also in other states. And Democrats support it. Biden supported it. You know, they just you're in Canada and other countries like that, they will ostracize you and punish you, and sometimes legally, if you even question it. If you're ever like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this or that, like, can we talk about it first? That's crazy how we gotten that far with this.
Travis, were you going to say something, Travis? I don't know.
Yeah, I just think Erin's, people often think this is just like a Colorado issue, but Erin's already spent 2 years on this. Didn't you sue the state, or they sued you a couple times? I mean, you had to actually put through 22 or something to get through 3. I mean,
20 to get 3, and then we got sued to the Colorado Supreme Court.
So she's already put through like 2 years of work, 1,500 volunteers. So like, we're just trying to get, we're getting a lot of help on X and on Instagram, which is very generous to get this through. I mean, it's already a package made up for everybody. She's already done all the hard work. Volunteers have already done the hard work. And the other thing is, people don't realize how much this is going to pay off for these other states, because if we could show these really corrupt and inbred and incestuous legislators that, actually this is really popular even in a Democrat state, you just got to get over it. Like, that is when we steamroll them instead of them steamroll us, when the people steamroll them and say, no, we're done with this. I think that'll really change the conversation. Even just getting this on the ballot is going to really change the conversation in the country, to show like, look, you know, the New York Times and the Atlantic, now they're starting to publish articles that question this. And even in Colorado, they're going to run this, and it's going to be in the news next year. It's going to be big, and it's going to kind of pop this blue bubble that's been causing all this harm.
Well, we're going to help you pop it.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bubble that needs to be popped.
I want to have these guys on as much as they can come on, at least a couple
Absolutely.
times a year. Like if you guys
Absolutely.
want to, you know, just
You
to talk
guys-
about it, give us updates.
This to echo what Nick's, I'm sorry, what Nino said. You guys,
It's my secret
is-
identity.
this this
gave it away.
is your consider us your platform as well. Like whenever
Yes,
you guys
I agree.
whenever you feel free to come
100%.
back whenever you like. Okay.
Yeah.
We are in support of you. Okay. Without any question, especially because see, I love when the most evil people when they hate us and what we do. I consider it a badge of honor because I want to show you all this, right? This here is who you're dealing with. This is your enemy, ladies and gentlemen. I am showing this right here. This is Kimberly Chambers. I'm gonna read Erin.
Is that a woman?
Kimberly Chambers of Skittles, Splash, NoCo, Safe Space, Prism Place, Rainbow Roots, Glow, like, oh my God, she's Larimer County Health Department, and potentially this is the demon that's been harassing Erin's daughter the last several years. And here is a video. I'm going to go right over to the next slide. Here is a video of her at a school board meeting mocking me just 2.5 months after we found out about her club.
When I go into gay, straight alliances or diversity clubs or whatever that student needs to tell their parents it is,
Get this shit.
they're there by choice. They come to those clubs and they don't always tell their parents because it's not safe to. So for 7 to 8 hours a day, as long as you have those students, their pronouns, their names, the person they have a crush on, those things really matter in school because when they go home and they say those words, they don't know if their parent is going to be at the next school board meeting concerned about their identity.
Evil shit. This is evil shit. The everything about that to me is just evil. From the obesity to the whisper voice, the mask wearing, because you're a faceless fucking human after 5 years after COVID.
Wait, she was wearing a mask?
She was wearing a mask.
I missed that.
She
When was this?
indeed wearing a mask. That was when was that again?
Please tell me that was.
That was 2021, but
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay,
all right.
I
right, so
assume
fine.
she still wears it.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll give her a little bit of
probably
grace. And now
But-
it is a woman, right?
Yeah. I mean that. Oh my God. I mean
I don't know. I'm serious. I don't know.
that looked like busted biscuits.
It's hard to tell in Colorado. I usually just assume everyone's trans and then work back from there. So I
Oh,
don't
Jesus.
know.
Oh.
I have never again, like everything about that is just hideously evil to me. Hideously evil. Did you guys have a problem hearing that, by the way? Erin, Travis, did you have a problem hearing that?
I heard it.
I heard it.
Okay, you heard it. So
You
because
could hear
I'm getting one complaint in the chat, and you seem to be speaking for everyone. So yeah, like I just don't understand. Oh God, this is gonna be a rough episode. It's a rough.
I love it though. I love that we're doing this. I think this is.
I do.
This is such important information to get out there.
I
love hearing your stories about the success stories you're having with your own daughter, especially. I think that's so great. 'Cause I hear that all the time from people being like, what do I do if my daughter, that's what she believes, or my son? I'm like, whatever you just did is kind of things I would say. And it's like, first of all, you have to like be firm about this too. You got to be firm. Like you cannot be a different sex. You cannot be a different gender. It's just, you are what you are. And you just got to figure out the best way to be that person. And then you're gonna have to do it as a male or a female, whichever you are, whatever you're born as, not what you're assigned, But anyways, go ahead, Dr. Morrell.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis. What
Oh
were you
yeah,
gonna say?
I mean, you don't want to keep doing this all night, but we haven't even talked about all the bills. I mean,
No, we should talk about them.
Let's do that.
We have another hour to go. If you guys stay as long as you want.
I got to at least tell you that, and Erin, I'm sure is going to get to this if I didn't, but is that we have sanctuary state, and then we have this like reverse sanctuary state. Okay, so not only could like somebody take your kid here, and then we could do whatever if they're 12 and up medically, and you're just kind of out of luck, even if you're a parent in another state. Say the kid did come back to Kansas or Texas or whatever. Well, if that parent tried to sue because of malpractice or something like from their own state through their own state, actually Colorado would shut down and not allow anyone to participate in the lawsuit, and then they would sue you. So like if your kid gets harmed from this, it's like you might get sued. You might get sued. Like it's just backward.
Crazy.
Like you've been saying, back basically upside down or
upside down morality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they eliminated
as above, so below.
Yes.
Well, so like detransitioners have no course of action here. They made it illegal. It was Senate Bill 129, I believe, last year. Made it illegal to respond to a subpoena. So that includes a medical organization that's investigating a gender butcher can't investigate them. That includes a detransitioner who's bringing civil suit against the doctor, can't sue him. That includes the federal government bringing in an investigation on gender butchers. It's illegal to respond to a subpoena per this law that they passed, which again is unconstitutional, insane. But the Colorado legislature thinks that they are God and they can do whatever they want, and the federal government has no say, and they get away with it. So we are a trans sanctuary state. There's an organization called One Colorado. I'll let Travis take this one, but they touted a 600% increase in people coming here, children coming here from other states to be mutilated because of the 27 states who have outlawed this. We are a trans sanctuary state for children.
Yeah, it was actually more than that. So we testifying, and these paid activists come and testify against the parents like Erin, and they were bragging early at the beginning of the year that instead of having 50 kids a year come here from other states, 50 kids a month, it's 600 kids a month. And that was,
oh my God.
And I was going to make fun of it. Like, I remember just like, I try to be professional and stuff, but I was going to make fun of it. And I was like, it's like a transcontinental pipeline. And then she literally, and then I kidding you not, I was like waiting to testify. And I was like, I'm going to totally ban, come up with some meme or something on Twitter tomorrow. And then this person literally said, this is a transcontinental pipeline, and if you go right now, you go to tcponline.org. That's for real. That wasn't a joke. That's an organization. So they're like actively trafficking or shuttling kids from other states to here. That's real. Planned
Parenthood.org.
That's it. tcpipeline.org. You don't even have
tcpipeline.org, guys.
You don't even have to. That's the site. She put it in there. So you don't even have to. The God's honest truth, I'd love to, like, if I was king or president or whatever, and I could research all this, I'd love to investigate.
They're bragging about it right now.
They're bragging about it. Massive new aid.
We have seen a massive increase in no aid requests since the election. Our small volunteer team is working diligently to train new relocation managers, add more resources, and expand to other safe states. Please get the fuck out of here.
We're just trying to like spay and neuter your children.
Oh my God.
And Erin can tell you it's in the church. The churches work together with the government to help this. I hate to say, in Fort Collins.
Our Unitarian church, they have one called Rainbow Villages where they relocate children here to be mutilated. In fact, the pastors of that church openly have been celebrated for fostering other people's kids and getting them access to medicalization at young ages. They got celebrated in our local paper for medicalizing other people's kids. And their quote is, "No questions asked. We're going to get you the health care you need." They were celebrated.
Jesus. No questions asked before you.
Oh my!
We see these people. I see some of these notes, right? It's not even they try to act like it's like some specialist thing that's going on, some subspecialist, tons of prep and stuff like that. It's not even doctors prescribing this to these kids. It's not specialists.
No.
In fact, they have the virtual care, I think Erin Lee can talk about some of these better than I can, the Plume and stuff like that. But I always look at Planned Parenthood, and Planned Parenthood has virtual gender affirming care, so-called. So honestly, I'd like to know what's keeping your kid in like, Philly or something to like just not, or maybe, a state where there's a ban, Florida or Texas or something like that, to just go online with a VPN and be like, yeah, I'm in Colorado, prescribe me this stuff, because, and they'll take cash, and, nobody ever knows. So.
And they took those drugs off the drug monitoring program last year. So testosterone is what, a Schedule I drug. It's in what's called a drug monitoring program by the state, just to make sure people aren't abusing it, prescribing it out abusively. And this bill that forced us all to pay for everyone's trans healthcare also slipped a little line in that removed testosterone from the drug monitoring program, including existing data. So if you were trying to go look and see how many testosterone prescriptions have been prescribed, you can't. That data doesn't publicly exist anymore. So they're not just trafficking kids here to do sex changes. You're paying for it, and it's being done in secret. It can't be tracked. And then there's no course of action for people who were harmed. So it's like they've covered every angle already. And I can't emphasize enough, our ballot measure, when people go, oh, that's just kids in Colorado. No, I've talked to dads in Michigan, Texas, Wisconsin, Oregon, whose exes come here with the kids, and state law here says that no custody agreement, no other state law, none of that is transferable. If you can get over the border, and they hid this within an abortion bill, by the way, but if you can get the kids over the border, then they can be mutilated, no questions asked. And even if dad has a custody order, he has full custody in another state, null and void.
Yeah, that is unbelievable, man.
It's literal. It's
That's so. I can't imagine a devastation of the other parent. How often is the parent the mother?
True wickedness.
100%.
True wickedness.
100% of the time, it's the mother.
In my experience, yeah.
Jeez.
Or
Is
both.
the mother? Is the mother doing it, or is the mother or both?
In the
Question for you.
separation, yep, it's mothers.
Question for you: How weak is the man when it is both parents? How dominated are they by the men, by their women?
No. They're just bound by law. Like Jeff Younger is a great case out of Texas. You probably heard his story that his ex-wife got to California, mutilated James and Jude, and he lost full custody rights of his kids. That is a strong, principled dad who just had every odd stacked against him, and that's what I'm seeing here.
Whoa! So she did go through and mutilate those boys.
At least one of them, yeah. And Jeff's not allowed to have contact with them.
I can't imagine being in that position, man. That's so disgusting.
I have to tell y'all a story real quick. I'm sorry, I know we're up against time, but there's a dad here named.
No, we're not. We got an hour.
We're good to go.
We don't have to go for an hour, but we are scheduled to go till 11. Yes,
okay. Well, there's a dad here named Jason Zook. He's a school teacher. He's a self-proclaimed leftist, has been very open about it. And I've shared his story. I'll put it in the chat on X again. But he contacted us because his wife of 20 years all of a sudden came home and said, I'm trans. And him being a super leftist was like, well, I knew she was bisexual, whatever, fine, my wife is trans. And then she leaves him for a woman, the woman who was giving her hormones outside of the process of normal like medical prescription, who was giving her street drugs. So she leaves him for this other woman, and then all of a sudden she takes the two boys, 5 and 7 years old, and then within months the 7-year-old is trans, the 5-year-old is non-binary.
Jesus Christ, man.
Dad finds himself at Colorado Christian Hospital, and keep in mind he's a school teacher, he's a left-leaning dad, and he's in the room with these doctors, and he just expresses skepticism. He was like, Erin, I probably would have gone along with it. Like they're trying to put this puberty implant in my 8-year-old's arm. And I just went, what are the side effects? Like, what are the negative consequences? Can I just ask some questions? Everyone's just going along with this. And I just want to understand what this could mean for my son. And because he's a teacher who can't afford a good lawyer, he went pro se in family court. He lost custody of both of his kids, 100%, is not allowed to have contact. And the mom is a very prominent TikToker, a crazy person who is openly documenting how she's medically mutilating these kids and vilifies him online. Like, it's not enough she took his kids forever and mutilated them. She also vilifies him. That's how bad it is. And that is not an uncommon story. I know over a dozen dads in the same situation here.
And Erin's right. These are not weak dads. Again, I think I know one mom nationwide. I don't know any in Colorado. These dads are not weak dads. What they do is they go bankrupt trying to sue, trying to defend, trying to go into family court. Sometimes they can't even go to court. And then what happens is a crazy making situation like Erin lived through. You have CPS visit you You have the judge condemn
scared
you.
you.
You have judge call you the abuser, and they say, well, all the doctors say you're harming the kids. So it's just a crazy making scenario, just like a life. Prison is life, across the country. This happens to kids, and Colorado is a leader in that.
How do you, Erin, speaking of which, how did you deal with that? Like CP, was it CPS? That was called? Child Protective Services coming to your house and basically probably insinuating that you might be abusing. Like, what did you do about that?
We didn't know what it was at the time. So they sent the mandated reporter they sent was the principal of the school where this happened. And we were new to town. We were new to Colorado. We went, oh, we're in a little small town. This must be how they do things. Like, they must feel so bad for what happened that they're going to come have a sit down in my home and apologize for what they did to my child. And so we let him in with open arms. I think we just got lucky that, he saw us as a family and he must have been like, oh, these are good parents. I'm not going to file a full CPS case against them. Thank God that, we got spared of that. So we dodged a bullet, but I will tell other parents, you don't let CPS in without a warrant. You do not let them in. And if they come to your door, you call the Pacific Justice Institute. They have a 24/7 hotline that helps parents with CPS knocking at their door. I didn't know I had that right, but they do not come in with it without a warrant.
Interesting. Is that just for Colorado or
nationwide?
Nationwide. The what was it called now?
Justice Institute.
Pacific Justice Institute.
Wow.
What's the website there? I'll look it up.
Okay. I'm not sure, but it's Brad Dacus is the head attorney who this is his life's work, is to save these families from CPS.
PacificJustice.org. Okay. I'm gonna actually I'm gonna make this I'm gonna put this in the chat right now for anybody who wants to, for anybody interested in this, because this is one of the most important things you guys can do, I think. And I'm so happy I know you guys now, because I might be in the same situation one day. My daughter's young, but like in a couple of years she'll be in school, and hopefully she doesn't have the wrong teacher, the wrong social worker, the wrong school counselor, whatever, or too many friends or whatever, or one of those clubs, and it's scary. It's scary. You don't know what to do. Luckily, I know my wife is 100% on board with what how I feel about it. I've shown her plenty of things. It's sad when people are split like that. When the man's conservative or at least critical, and the mother is already in the we can't be bigots camp or whatever, or thinks it's some of them you see in Hollywood, it seems like they wear it as like a badge of honor. It's like virtue signaling to have your kids, like some of them have like 2 trans kids, a bunch of trans people in their family. All of a sudden it's like, what are the odds of that? What are the odds of that? It wasn't Transhausen, yes. Transhausen by proxy. Transhausen by proxy, that's right. And it's just like, this didn't even exist before. I know there's gender dysphoria, which was considered a mental illness, and usually you get some therapy and you're out of it. And a lot of those kids would turn gay, but not all of them. And now it's like something you have to take super seriously as like their identity for the rest of their life, and do all these procedures. And it's just it's totally crazy and heinous. And I'm so glad that you guys are providing a pathway, pioneering a pathway, and for parents who are stuck in this. And people need to know their rights, and they need to know like that there's people who can support them, and that's so important. So I'm very, very happy to broadcast this routinely. Honestly,
I really want to show people this. I flashed it earlier, but the transcontinental pipeline is a real thing.
It's like the Underground Railroad.
The Underground Railroad
for abducting your kids into a cult,
for child trafficking. This is it right here,
and it's your kids. It's not just Colorado's kids. It's exactly everybody but Colorado's kids.
Right.
Yes. And look at that shit. Want to get away? Like
it's a fucking vacation
on our tax dollar. We're paying for it.
Oh my god,
ladies and gentlemen, this is
some of the worst shit I've ever heard in my life, man.
This is
like 2 hours straight. It's unbelievable.
This is true evil.
It is. It is.
I've
it's not an exaggeration.
I've like I said, we've been doing this almost a year. This is our 37th episode, and God willing, we'll have many, many more. I do want, that this is a show that we will continue to cover things like this on our airwaves, amongst other things. But this is truly the greatest. This is worse than slavery. I'm going to go ahead and say it. And I know it's like very unpopular.
And it's hard to compare those things too. Those are both pretty terrible. But you might be right, man.
It's a very unpopular opinion, and I don't care. Black folk love to talk about how slavery is the worst thing, and America was built by slavery. Yeah. Okay, fine. But you have people throughout the United States developing underground railroads and basically using the exact same tactics that within the civil rights movement. I'm seeing several parallels. They're using this to traffic children and essentially destroy the next generation of kids, their children. This is a confederacy. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. The gender cultism is the new confederacy. It absolutely is. This is because understand the one thing about I'm gonna make this comparison. I'm gonna make this parallel. Most people understand slavery to be they talk about the Civil War was fought over slavery. Yeah, that's only a piece of it. It was the economy around slavery. That was why the Confederacy fought so hard for it in the 1800s. That's the one point. Slavery was a massive, massive industry. And when you begin, and you have to look at it that way, because once you do, you'll understand why this is so heinous. This isn't about just protecting the children, right? When you protect your own kids, when kids are intact, every intact child is an affront to a multi-billion-dollar industry. This is corporate. I want to give credit to somebody who made this comparison many years ago, Jennifer Billick, who was very, very, very instrumental in widening my understanding of this, of the type of the corporate insanity. Every major corporation, every bank, every media outlet, everything was turned to promote this dogma to the children of the United States, and everything was done to normalize this.
Yeah, and for at least a month a year.
The breakdown of the family, everything like what the stuff that Erin has gone through, ladies and gentlemen, is all as out and out Marxism. It's Maoism. She just put like that thread is a textbook struggle session.
No,
that's what we're dealing with here.
Worse than that too, because
it's much worse about it.
Yeah.
What's Trump doing about it? That's honestly the reason why that doesn't matter at the moment is because there are other issues. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter. That's wrong. There are other issues at the moment, and I'm going to talk about them at the end of the show. But right now, this is a time when people, again, like we said earlier, not to be repetitive, but no one is coming to save us. No one is. This is something that has to be done and handled at the local level. These state and local, they are all becoming laws unto themselves. They're all becoming little fiefdoms. This is what they want.
I'm sorry, Travis, you were going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, you're preaching. I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah.
Preach.
Like, I'm sorry.
No, I call Colorado like a hermit kingdom, like North Korea. How it's just like all backwards. And everybody's 5 foot tall, and they don't grow tall, and they're hungry and starving, and the king gets everything he wants. Like that's how we are. Like we're doing barbaric medicine to kids that they don't do in most other states, that they're stopping doing in Europe. And you're right. It's going to be its own kingdom carved out. And I honestly, whether you like Trump or not, I mean, he's crushing it on this issue. Honestly,
He is.
Not only is he crushing it, it's as organized, systematic. He's got good people. He's crushing it. But even so, at the end of the day, like Erin said, it's been the 1 year. We're waiting for a bill, a bill from the feds. I don't see it coming.
That's what we need. Yeah.
We need a bill from the feds, but I don't know. Let's see how midterms go and stuff. But we need to do this locally, and that's why Erin doing all this gives us a chance to break what I call the blue curtain, like the Iron Curtain in the Cold War. Break that blue curtain of states that are hurting kids and separating families, and this is the best chance we have to get behind that and show that even in blue states, Americans are not okay with harming kids, are not okay with boys and girls sports.
No.
But
And men and women's spaces and locker rooms.
How is anybody okay with this?
Prisons.
How are these, like, seriously? How?
Not to mention the not, just real quick, I said, not to mention the not criminalizing or punishing crimes that we're seeing, right? We've seen that so much of people being arrested 37 times and then stabbing a woman in the neck, things like that. And then of course you just said about like, what was it? You can have sex or rape 3 children, three in 3 different occasions. And you said it's guaranteed probation still?
It's 80% of the time, but the other 20% is because there were heinous crimes attached, and that's what they serve jail time for, not for the rape.
So the rape is not heinous enough for them.
Correct.
A rape of a child.
3 times.
I mean, what the fuck is that about?
It's because they believe. I'm gonna tell you what it is. Because they're adultifying the children. They're adultifying the children. What they do is,
but they don't adultify them when they're committing, in DC when they're sticking people up and hurting and killing people. Then they're children. Then they're children again.
But when I say adultifying the kids, that there's a corner of the internet that, and Reddit, Tumblr, all that type of shit, they often depict like the furries with diapers on and shit like that. It's perverse. It's perversion, right? It's serious perversion. A lot of these people believe that children are capable of consent. They do. They do. This is the actual nexus of queer theory. This is what Michel Foucault, and especially
who was
Michel
a pedophile,
Foucault,
right?
Who was a pedophile.
He used to travel to Africa.
Judith Butler,
to have sex with boys.
Yes, Judith Butler, and all these other ones. These people are effectively, like I said, they worked. The entire nexus of queer theory is essentially to take away the penalty for raping children.
And we're seeing that with the destigmatizing maps, minor attracted persons.
We're seeing all of that. We're seeing all of that right now. And again, this is being done because they don't want distinctions.
Right.
When they can relativize everything, and when the state is the one that dictates the morality, okay? And again, and to your point, Nino, these people they adultify the kids when it comes to sex, when it comes to a sexual assault by adults. But yet when 12 and 13-year-olds are out sticking up a carjacking, Senate staffers, and middle class people just going home, blue collar workers is going home for the night from work. Oh, you want to charge them? Oh, now they're juveniles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's dangerous.
This is the new Confederacy. I said this years ago. This is the new. I'm trying not to rant.
Well,
But
if you can agree at 15 to have your breast cut off, which is legal, actually there's no legal limit in the state of Colorado. But I've posted doctors advertising at 15. Our fourth largest hospital, which is our largest Medicaid hospital, advertised it as 16 until partway through the Trump administration this year. So there's no age limit. It's required that insurance cover for everybody with no age limit. And Medicaid pays for it. You have to, it's on a case by case basis. So the doctor has to write a letter or something. So, I mean, this is happening to 15-year-olds. If you can agree to remove a functional organ of your body, right? This isn't an ear piercing. It's not a tattoo even. You're removing a functional organ. That mom, when she's 25, 35, she's not going to be able to nurse or warm her baby, or there's bonding that goes on there. There's immune system stuff that goes on.
100%.
You're not going to be able to do that.
Mhm.
And if you can do that at 15, it's like if you told your 15-year-old, hey, shake my hand and you can never drive a car for the rest of your life. And he's like, I haven't even had my license yet. You're like, let's do this. This will be great. Like, this is before you ever got to take your long-term relationship out for a drive, before you've ever want your friends are getting kids. If you can consent at 15 to that, I mean, what can't you consent to? I don't know. And so I think Isaiah is right, as coarse as it sounds. I think he's 100% right. If you can consent to those serious surgeries, why can't you do other things with your body? And I just want to be clear, none of us here think that's right, but that's the logical argument.
And also people change. People change. People will say throughout their 20s and early 30s, even like, I don't want to ever have kids. I don't see that for me. That's not really for me. Then they fall in love with somebody, meet somebody, and then they're like, oh yeah, I definitely want to have kids. I definitely see myself having kids. But what do you know at 15, 16, 17, even early 20s? Like, I don't even know if it's ever good to do this, really. Like, I don't know that it should ever honestly be legal. Or at least maybe it should be till you're 30 or something like that, because you don't know shit in your 20s. You really don't.
You really don't.
So, I mean, it's no wonder people commit suicide after doing this. And I know I was somebody who didn't know I wanted to be a father until recently. And now I'm like, well, thank God I did. And, this is the best decision I ever made. So how many other people are like that, especially now?
I want to see something real quick, because this right here, I want to play this again, because and this is again for the benefit of the audience. Y'all need to hear the face. Y'all need to hear what evil sounds like. I'm going to play it again. I'm sorry, but yeah, I have to play this again. This is like, y'all, this is what it is.
When I go into gay street alliances or diversity clubs, or whatever that student needs to tell their parents it is, those people are by choice. They come to those clubs and they don't always tell their parents because it's not safe to. So for 7 to 8 hours a day, as long as you have those students, their pronouns, their names, the person they have a crush on, those things really matter in school, because when they go home and they say those words, they don't know if their parent is going to be at the next school board meeting concerned about their identity.
It's not safe, huh? Not safe if you can't be safe for your parents.
And I was sitting there, and God bless the two strange women who held me down when I saw red and jumped up and was going to like jump on her like a spider monkey. Really, I should have gone to jail that day.
Yeah, that's probably best he didn't, as much as that would have been deserved.
I've never. I tried to turn it up as best as I could.
Predators,
I do apologize for
absolute predator.
I do apologize for the volume, guys. I will chat. We'll
put the link under the video and stuff. And in the YouTubes and stuff like that, so people can hear it. Is there any other bills that we haven't
please,
went over, guys? That you guys think? Let's go. Keep it going. Keep going. Unless you guys, anybody, if we're up too late or something, feel free to drop off. Anybody needs to go.
Yeah, I do want to mention, Aaron, I lost your little sheet with the list of all the bills, although, but I do want to mention, if people are willing to chip in with that QR code, because we're trying to raise $250,000 by the end of the week. And we just did 10 days. So last 5 days, work days, these 5 days, Monday through Friday. And just to fill that gap in the funding that Erin said kind of fell through after all their work and all their labor and all their planning, all their lawsuits here at the end, And the reason that we're asking for the money now is because, number one, I think people want to be a part of it. It's been very popular on X. A lot of people are sharing. A lot of people that we've never heard of are donating. Parents are donating. Doctors are donating. And, she only has a few more weeks. I think is it 6 more weeks? A few more weeks to get signatures. But you got to pay the people and get them out there, and then they got to do it. It's not like instant. They can't just go to the grocery store one day and come back with 20,000 signatures. And so her volunteers are still working. I mean, I personally am working. My 2-year-old, my wife are out there, on Sundays usually getting signatures. So it's not that we're not all going to keep working, but if we can get some professionals to chip in too with your donations, that goes straight to the cause. Erin's a volunteer. She's just doing this because she cares and because she's probably a little mad at Mama Bear Protective, which is great. But so people can join in and be a part of this right now at this very important time. And as we talked about with that transcontinental pipeline, this is protecting your kids too. This isn't just ours.
Yeah. And it'll topple the dominoes in all the blue states and fortify the red states. It's disappointing that our funding fell through. It's not surprising. That's common here in Colorado. People, again, they forget about us. They think we're too far gone. We're not. And it's so easy for everyone just to do a little bit. My theory has always been if we all just do a little bit, then there will be this massive win and we all get to take part in it. And anyone from any state can chip in.
Yeah, please add those links below like our post about it.
Yes.
And ask for donations, like whatever it is, just so we have it there. I'll definitely repost it. And also feel free in general to, like, if you want to clip any of this, feel free to clip these videos as much as you want and share them, and we'll repost them. Because this is a really important conversation. There's plenty to clip here. I mean, I could make like 100 clips from this show.
Yeah. And we will be
making some clips for sure. But yeah, that's definitely put that in there because a lot of people might forget some of the stuff throughout the conversation. I definitely want to raise money for this, and I probably will be donating some money as well. Actually,
same.
But yeah, it's because it's that important and it's for the whole country, really. So,
what else are you guys? Anything else that you're working on before we break out of here?
I'll just plug. I did a film about what happened to our family.
Oh, really?
Actually, my chairman and my co-founder of Protect Kids Colorado is a former state senator. Don't hold that against him. He's one of the good guys. But he's also a filmmaker, and he made a film called Art Club. It's at artclubmovie.com, and it's free. It's on Rumble. It's on YouTube. We haven't been canceled yet, and we will keep it free forever because it's a really important story. And it's got like January Littlejohn and Alex Newman and Mike Ferris from ADF, the Van Meter from American College of Pediatrics, the president of that organization's in it. Family Research Council, and it really just gives a really intimate look. And the best part of that is my husband's piece. He is a quiet engineer. He has to keep his job. He actually works at the company that fired me for speaking up about this. So he's more low key, but he really pours his heart out in this movie and just demonstrates how important it is for mom and dad to come together and the role that men play in protecting these kids. Like you see the mama bears out here on the front lines. And I think that's because instinctually, again, we're the protectors of the kids. We handle the school stuff. We're in charge of the kids.
Right.
But it's the dads who, in a lot of these cases like mine, are who saved these kids. And I really credit him with all of that. So I encourage people to watch it,
awesome.
Share it. I've met a lot of families who've gone, I'm so glad I found your movie because this is my story too. They're always eerily similar stories. And so it's a blessing to have helped so many people through that. And then I have another film coming out in January on Angel Studios called The Death of Recess. It's not my film. It's another wonderful filmmaker who made it, but it's the best project I've ever done. So look out for that in January.
What's that about? Because that sounds right up my alley.
It's about the teachers union. It's about how the teachers union, the NEA, the AFT have infiltrated education across the board. And I mean, the gender cult's a big part of that, but it covers the broad spectrum of the damage the teachers union has done. And the filmmaker infiltrated them at their last annual conference. And he got some good stuff.
And
that's
Travis,
perfect.
Anything?
That is right up my alley. We also please share those links too.
Please do.
Yeah,
please do.
Yep. I'd love it if people can follow Erin on Instagram and X at Erin #4 parents, Erin #4 parents, and turn notifications on for us just through Friday because she doesn't post a bunch, but she's posting some great content right now, and it's just great to share with other people because this is just a one-time opportunity where a lot of things, it's like, oh, maybe if we get enough, maybe this will happen, whatever. It's like, no, if Erin hits her goals, then she gets 1, 2, 3 of these ballots on next year. And even if we just get one of these on next year, it's going to be meltdown. I mean, it's going to be great. For those of you who don't like seeing people do this to kids and to families and tear apart families, you're going to have so much great content as our legislators melt down over the fact that the people are going around them trying to ban their precious gender surgeries. And it's going to be, I guarantee it's going to be worth if you paid $12 or $16 for your Netflix subscription, like it's going to be worth it next fall if we get these on. If you can put in $12 or $12 a month or whatever, I mean, help her out and get this across the line. It's going to be totally worth it.
Thanks, Travis. I'm bad at asking for money, can you tell? But he keeps me in line. We do.
Give this lady money.
No, please give her money.
Give her money.
Super important.
You see that QR code, ladies and gentlemen, that's currently up right now. Please make sure that you scan that QR code and give this lady money so that she can save kids in Colorado. Please do so.
What's your ad again, Erin?
Erin, the number 4 parents.
Erin, number 4 parents. Erin 4 parents on X.
Thank you. I want to.
And let's get Dr. Is it Morrell or Morrell?
Yeah, either way, Morrell, but either way, yeah.
Okay, Dr. Morrell. Yeah, let's get your what's your
mine is
X and where they can reach you.
Yeah, thanks, brother. It's at Morrell. There you go, brother. There we go. Morrell, 2 R's, 2 L's, MD, MPH. Yeah, Morrell, MD, MPH. That's me.
Great.
Yeah, we got you covered. And it's Erin for parents. I thought it was Erin for parents, parental rights.
Nope, my X
X
handle is just Erin for parents, but the title was Erin for parental rights.
Got you. Okay, so let me change that. Erin for parents. There we go. Now I can fix that. There we go. So Erin for parents. There we go. Guys, I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for you guys coming to see us tonight on Apostate Radio. We do apologize again for the technical difficulties, but you guys are incredible. This is your platform.
Yes,
we try to be
100%.
The one thing, like more than anything, this platform is a home for people who strayed from the leftist from the hellhole that leftists have created.
We're former Democrats, by the way.
We are former Democrats as well.
Left. So that's part of the purpose of this.
Yeah, this is not something this is not a grift. This is not anything. No, this isn't something that we do because we don't believe anything and we think, oh, we just want fame and fortune on.
We are interested in people giving us money, though. So.
Yes, we are. We are absolutely.
Wish there was a grift aspect to it.
Yeah, but no, seriously, guys. This is your platform, and we want to. And like I said, whenever you guys want to come back, you're more than welcome to.
I'm so thankful for you guys. Like, I think this is both of you are so important what you're doing. It gives me hope, and because I am scared about this for my own personal life, for my relatives, but especially my own personal family now, that this is going to come home to roost in my doorstep, and things could be out of control. Maybe it happens when she's older, and then it's like her friends are doing it, and she got a teacher she really loves or whatever who's pushing it on her. And it's just like there could be the parental laws against you. She could be like, I hate you. I don't want you. And it's like, I want to prevent this from happening. This shouldn't be an issue I need to worry about ever. I shouldn't have to worry about this. And I think most parents would agree on that. And this is the front line of how to do something about it. I'm glad that people are actually doing something about it, like you guys. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thanks so much. But I mean, Erin, she's lost her job. If I got my kids straightened out after this, I'd be like out of state. You never hear from me again. And she goes back. I mean, the local media and the Capitol, they mock her, shame her, just trash her. It's just
totally indoctrinated. The media is
so embarrassing. So I'm just so proud to be able to volunteer under her, and I think it's a great opportunity I gave to her, and I'll give again. And I know a lot of people are, because it's fun to be a part of something big that's actually getting done. And so I'm thankful for her, and thankful for you guys for giving us this platform, which I like listening to you guys anyway, but it's really fun to be on it. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Well,
won't be the last time, man. We'll be on again.
Thanks.
Thank you again for joining the show. We greatly appreciate it, and we will talk to you. We'll talk to you throughout the week. We'll
We'll be in touch.
Yeah, we
And
will
feel
be.
free to spam my DMs with stuff.
Please do.
This is honestly one of the most important things that I'm concerned about. So I'm with you guys.
Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it again.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
It is looking in the face of evil, man, with what they're describing, and I can't imagine. I feel so bad for I see Isaiah here. I don't know if you guys can see, and if you're listening on the podcast, it's going to be, he seems emotional right now, as I almost started crying too at a certain point, especially when I was thinking about the fathers who have their kids abducted and then they're, and by their mothers and vindictive mothers stealing your children from you, probably villainize, obviously vilifying them in public, but also probably to the kids, tell them like your dad doesn't accept your identity and he hates you and he hates people like you. And I can imagine if that, if that was me, like how heartbreaking that would be. How sad that would happen, that somebody so warped, like a mother or whoever the parent is, so warped that they would do that to their opposite, to the other parent, their spouse or former spouse, and just be seduced by the dark side, honestly, and sacrifice their own child at the altar of this gender cult, which is from the depths of hell. There's no other way to fucking put it.
Whenever I see one of these anime characters, whenever I see anybody who any apologists for this movement, I want you to know right now that I am your enemy. I am your enemy. Whenever I see there's this guy on X who goes by the name of Nyara, a TRA. That's all I'm gonna say.
Trans rights activist.
Yeah, trans rights activist. YouTube. Yeah, I think it's a YouTube, like a VTuber. Got into a fight with gets into fights regularly with guys like Asmongold, talking about protect trans kids. I'll remember. I never like every. This to me, whenever I see that pink, that baby blue, pink, and white flag, I personally consider that flag to be no different than the stars and bars. That flag is the new Confederacy.
At this point, it's worse,
that
man.
Flag, it's worse. Like it is so much worse than I could have ever imagined. These people are literally turning. Not only are they turning children against their own bodies, they're turning children against their parents. They're turning parents against each other.
Yeah.
Right? But what they're doing is they are also turning people directly against reality and good judgment.
And they're also promoting pedophilia.
They are openly promoting pedophilia. They are openly promoting the mutilation of children.
Satanic.
This is truly satanic stuff. This is far more evil. This is more evil than abortion. It's more evil than the slave trade. It's more evil than anything that this country has ever faced. This is more evil even than Islam. And I hate that. I hate that.
There isn't. I don't think there is anything more evil than this. Actually, this cult how could there be?
This is the biggest evil that I have, and this is just I'm repeating myself. Like I'm so like I have never been so emotional. I've talked about this stuff before. I was in an argument with someone who tried to go back and forth with me all fucking day long about just going back and forth with me, trying to get me to debate about the reality of human being sexual dimorphism. I am done. I am not at I am no longer at the point where I'm not going to debate the reality. They're like, well, sex is a spectrum. Sex was never even considered a spectrum until you evil people reared your ugly heads.
Sex is not a fucking spectrum, man.
Sex has never been a spectrum. And I said this last night.
Maybe in some other species, I don't know, but not in mammals and not with human beings.
Anyone who comes up to you, and ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are within the sound of my voice, hear me very carefully. Anyone who says to you that sexual dimorphism it's complicated, it's more complicated than that, it's much more complex, please understand they're the ones who are looking to make it more complex. Please understand that, folks. They're the ones who are looking to turn you against your own, like to turn people against their own bodies, to turn people against reality itself.
Yeah. Ask Richard Dawkins if the evolutionary biologist if he thinks there's sex is a spectrum. Ask Colin Wright. Ask him. Look up what they say about this.
Next week we're going to have the incomparable guy who I've been wanting to talk to for quite some time.
Jeez, man, we're really cooking lately, man.
We have been.
These last two episodes are two of my favorites. So
yeah.
This one today and tonight and the one with James Lindsay and Joel Berry.
Yeah.
And now we got you announce it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That's fine. Like James and Joel, we want to thank those two again for coming on. I mean, those guys are regulars. Like those guys can come on whenever they want.
Of course.
We're really cooking, like you said. Hold on, before I make the announcement.
Finishing in the year strong.
Yeah,
2025 strong, man.
Yes. And Chris Olin brought up Jeff Younger. Judge banned him from seeing his kids because he spoke out openly about what was happening. Yeah.
Unbelievable. What a piece of shit that judge is, man.
Yeah.
Fuck these people, man. I'm sick of these people.
Yeah. MAP are trying to say pedophilia is a sexual preference, not a disease.
They also want to destigmatize it.
They do.
Left. And leftist PhDs and professors, by the way, not just like rando pedos.
Yeah.
They are. Destigmatize it. What are you talking about? Of course you stigmatize pedophilia.
Yeah.
Of course it's supposed to be stigmatized. At the least, it's supposed to be stigmatized.
No. Mustachio James says, I had someone very close to me fall victim to this. She came through due to some drastic measures on my on others' part. I join you in my enmities, especially of the adults in their orbit who impress these upon kids. They are not human.
Yeah. Agreed.
They aren't. And he continues, you can't let your kids be raised by their phones.
That's a big part of it.
Still sending your kids to a public school, you get them out.
I mean, that second part is hard to do, but the phones is under your control. And you need to stand firm as parents and be like, I don't give a shit what your friends are doing. And in fact, Jonathan Haidt talks about this a lot. This is like his new thing that's been big with the anxious generation. And he's right to do this because it is the source of a lot of our issues is just bad algorithms, he said there's a lot of predators on phones, by the way, parents, a lot of predators. He said most predators come through the phones now, not like, and you don't have to necessarily, it's not so much of them abducting your kids and stuff like that. That doesn't usually happen. It's more through the forums. And then they want to meet them in person through forums, through social media. So that's the that's a big threat. So to the first part, yeah, I mean, if you keep your kids off social media and cell phones until at least they're 16, and honestly, probably want to do it a little even later than that, then that's going to be so much more. They're going to have a little bit more of the identity formed. They're getting a little closer to adulthood. For girls, especially, social media is terrible for them, in middle school.
Yeah.
Especially junior high, middle school, especially probably freshman year as well, because they are it affects women, females much worse than it does boys. And it affects boys differently in different ways, especially later on. But the anxiety has been hockey stick anxiety since the advent of social media and the like buttons and stuff like that, Instagram and Facebook, where girls are feeling like they're not being invited to parties. People don't think they're pretty. People aren't liking their posts. There's people bullying them online and on social media. Girls are ostracizing each other because that's how girls bully each other, like relationally. They attack your reputation behind the scenes, stuff like that. And it's really affecting girls, so that, anxiety is going up like a hockey stick, depression's going up like a hockey stick since like 2012. And also girls are committing suicide way more than they used to, which is, that didn't used to happen so much. It used to be more of a male thing. And of course, now we're seeing the gender stuff, right? That's another way to they're super sad, they're super depressed, they don't feel good about themselves. Maybe it's because they're a boy. Did you think you might be a boy? You think, maybe that's going to make you not be depressed and all that. And it's like, no, that's clearly partly social media. It's partly how we raise our kids now. It's partly the messages they're seeing. Schools, the lack of morality, the lack of moral framework, the lack of social embeddedness. That's really what's going on. Lack of religion, frequently spirituality. So this is to that guy's point. I forgot what his name was. Yes, smartphones are a huge part of it, and that could really protect your kids.
The Black Mirror.
Yeah, it's
Black Mirror.
There's not good incentives with these kids. Like, the social media is trying to get them messed up in the head so they can manipulate them and make them buy things. And there's obviously, as we've seen, there's a huge coalition of people behind the scenes with a lot of money that are pushing all this on kids and families.
Yeah,
so many things: breaking up families, making men hate women, women hate men. Pushing boys and masculinity down so they could do this more often, right? Do this kind of, because as we've seen, masculinity can save lives frequently.
Yes,
saves lives, saves children's lives. Like, and I think it's great that Erin is woman enough to admit that her husband played such a huge role, and that she was originally with the cult, or at least sympathetic to it. And that's the difference that a man can make. That's the difference that I'm making. Because I know women that I know that are. At first we're like, well, it's just inclusivity. Like, what's the problem? It's like, there's a lot of problems, actually. There's a lot of problems with this. It's not just inclusivity. It's not just gay rights or something. It's nothing to do with gay rights. It's nothing to do with gay people.
Nothing.
It's about protecting children, protecting women. And thankfully, more and more people are starting to see that. Yeah. But it's and we need men to be men.
We have to.
And
stop
speak
being
up
afraid to say no.
And give their women who need it some strength, some courage, some real facts, cutting through the bullshit, and let them know, hey, this is a threat to our children. So
yeah, man.
Erin's husband, man, and I know he must, props to him. I know he must feel good about this, about stopping this, and I know, and props to Erin for listening to her husband and seeing the light about this and fighting like a warrior over this. And they mess with the wrong woman. And thank God for that. Thank God that she and her husband are standing up to this and creating a path for parents to follow, kids who are being ensnared in truly a demonic cult, predatory cult.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so next week, I am quite pleased to announce that Razor Fist.
Ooh,
Razor Fist. The
man, Razor Fist, man.
This guy is a legend. Razor Fist is going to be on the show next week.
So
this guy, we're talking about a guy who is tapped in to so many areas of culture. Razor's a gamer. He is he's written several comic books. He's into metal. He's into heavy metal music. This is a guy into rock music. He's done series on Michael Jackson. he's made several like long videos on Abraham Lincoln. I'm going to ask him about his opinions on Abraham Lincoln. I think they're fascinating.
Interesting. All right.
He's convinced that Abraham Lincoln is like the first American dictator that we had, and it's
Well, no, there's some stuff to back that up. I think, yeah, especially during war against the South.
Yeah. He made one thing about how McCarthy, what McCarthy went through back when Joe McCarthy, when he was dealing with all of the communists within
okay.
Yeah.
Because he's constantly painted as a real terrible person, but like,
yeah,
I think we're probably seeing that he wasn't completely off about what he was talking about completely.
Well, yeah. So, but yes, Razor Fist will be on the show next week, 8 p.m. And one last thing, because I'm being asked by our nemesis in the chat. He says, you should explain your trans flag is the same as the Confederate flag theory. I'll be happy to. Here's why I say that. I mentioned it earlier. I'm gonna say it again.
I gotta say real quick, is Shake really our nemesis? Because I think he's enjoying the show, man.
Well, I think he is. You know, he used to be rhetorically defective. And now he's master Shake.
Hey, Shake, you could admit that you're a fan of Apostate Radio. So it's cool. You could be an honorary apostate, man.
He actually, and I will say this,
you do it, bro.
He actually, I will, to his credit, he had a very good recommendation. He said that we should talk to Mikhail Olson, who is a friend of ours.
We did, right?
He's a friend of ours.
Yeah.
He said that we should ask Mick to do our sound.
To
do our sound, like because I guess we're having sound problems.
Can you do that remotely?
I don't know.
Or does he have to come to New York?
You know what? He would have to, and knowing where he is, that guy, we're gonna have to dig him out. We're gonna dig him out.
Where is he in Minnesota?
Wisconsin.
Chicago?
He's in Wisconsin.
That's right. Wisconsin. That's right. Yeah.
We're like, I got a brother who lives in Wisconsin.
I've been digging enough snow today, man. I can't be doing that for Mikhail today.
Yeah. Oh wait, he says nope. I am always Shake. Have me on. They say, have me just have him consult, bros. Okay, we'll do so. No, I'll talk. I'm sure he'll do it. But so here's my trans flag is the same as Confederate flag theory. The Confederate flag was was direct opposition to. My brain is still scattered. The Confederate flag, as we all know, the Southern states wanted to maintain slavery, who wanted to maintain the economy surrounding slavery, because there was no basically that was one of the only games in town. You know, slaves were the ones who picked cotton. Slaves were the ones who picked other crops that were grown in the South. It was mostly cotton. The South, the Confederate Army fought to protect their economy. That's essentially what it was. To the point of, 700,000 people dying. When I see the trans flag, when I see what the gender cult does, the multi-billion dollar industry, damn near $1 trillion industry that gender ideology has created over the last 10, 15 years. And I see, and when I look at the zeal by the emotional dysregulation and the propensity for violence that many within the gender cult have, And I'm not just talking about, I'm not talking about ontological violence that, from not using one's pronouns or whatever. I am talking about actual real deal violence. Like the kind you saw that took out Charlie Kirk, the kind you saw in Tennessee with Audrey Hale shooting up the church in Nashville, the Christian school in Nashville. When I see that, when I see these people fighting to protect their own Gnostic cult, that to me is the new Confederacy. We have, and even when we talk about like when we talk about the ideologies, right? The Confederacy, well, trans is one of many methods of totalism, right? You can't believe anything else. You must subsume your entire being to lying when it comes to lying to yourself about adherence to pronouns, actually believing that the trans woman is a woman. The naked male in front of you in the woman's bathroom is actually a woman trapped in a man's body. You're supposed to actually believe that. This is a confederacy. The way I see it, the entire gender cult, the LGBTQIAP, which has become a Trojan horse for all of this other foolishness. This is a confederacy against Western civilization. It is the most effective vector of communism and Marxism. Again, well, Marxism is communism. It is the most effective vector of communism in the mainstream. Because if you're willing to upend your own reality and make everyone else upend their reality for you, then this is again we're dealing with a cult here, and I'm sorry, and maybe I need to hash this out more, in a live or maybe in a space. But we are dealing with a confederacy against reality itself, against Western civilization.
No question.
I do believe this, and it is a multi-front confederacy. Again, I apologize for being inarticulate. I'm still pretty shaken up after everything that we've heard tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll hash this out a little more.
Yeah, but good. Maybe write a post about it too.
Yeah, I might need to do
that. Your essay post. Yeah. Writing helps. Writing helps you. Think and come and be like, all right, wait, do I believe that? Okay, this is what I want to say.
Yeah.
So that could be useful for that, because it is a lot, man. I mean, there's clearly something. You're right. There's clearly something going on. Yeah. Whatever it is, that's very odd, very unnatural, very anti-family, anti-West, making men and women hate each other, very anti-life in a lot of ways. It's like a death cult.
It is.
Abortion, celebrating abortion, trying to push vasectomies on people at the Democratic National Convention with the abortion truck and vasectomies. It's like, trying to tell women they shouldn't get married or have kids because it's patriarchal oppression. Obviously this transgender thing, trying to ruin children, trying to sterilize children. It's the assisted suicide push. You name it. I mean, just the whole climate, even the whole climate science stuff. It's like, it's very anti-human. Jordan Peterson talked about this a lot. It's very anti-human, how it's always like, we need less people. We need less humans. Like, okay, how are we gonna have less people?
Yeah.
Well, how are we gonna get less people? We're just gonna fucking wish that we had less people? We don't need that many people anyways. All right, who's gonna go then? Who's gonna go? Who's gotta go?
Yeah.
You? Your kids? Your family?
Of course not.
It's anti-human cults that we're seeing on much of the left. And a lot of them probably aren't even aware of it. but it's
Yeah.
something very dark and demonic. Honestly, I think you have
It
to
is.
think about it in spiritual terms, regardless of what you believe. There's something afoot here. It's very dark and demonic.
That's our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we thank you for bearing with us through the technical difficulties that we had earlier. Razor Fist will be on next week. We will be back on December 21st. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you again to the chat for your active participation. We are doing we really appreciate this. Even
Yes, we do, guys.
even
Thank you.
those even
Please share it too.
If you agree with us, if you disagree with us, please make sure you like, subscribe. We're trying to get to our first big goal for the new channel is 500 subscribers. We're trying to get to 500 subs. We eventually, because again, we want to do there's more stuff that's available. We can do super chats, that type of thing. We're really trying to grow our fledgling podcast here, and we cannot do it without your help. We greatly appreciate it. So next week, next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Razor Fist on the show. God bless. Thank you all. Say a prayer. Hug your kids. And we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, everybody.